Midlands. That's all I know of you, sir. So I've got them here. And whilst I've been rabbiting, we get underway with the first race of the day, and they come down past me for the very first time this afternoon. Going quickly is the left cross down in front, and already we've lost big shots on that bottom turn. Two other riders that lost it going into that first turn. So I do expect a red flag, and indeed there is, as we've got fallen riders and machinery. So once again, for third time lucky perhaps, we've got the riders for the first race of the day on the start line. The yellow flag goes up, down, and up goes the green, and this time we've got them cleanly away. And as they come down past me for the first time, it is once again Velasco to play the best at the start. Big Dog is right up there with him this time. No, those two go around that first bend. Four riders together behind Big Dog's back wheel. John Jeffries is one of them. Glenn Phillips I can see in amongst them as well. But it is Phil Ashcroft that's setting the pace, and Phil comes off that top turn, leading at the moment relatively comfortably, but John Jeffries has moved through into second, and closing all the time. Watch for the very distinctive leathers of John Jeffries with that Union Jack flag all across his back. He's closing, but Mitch Scotton certainly isn't out of it. He closes up once again from that third spot, tries to go around the outside, looks to cut back underneath, but Phil Ashcroft still wins the lead. And John Jeffries, Mitch Scotton. John Jeffries pushing on the inside again. He looks pretty much like tied on that bottom turn. 23 Wayne Barrett in fourth place at the moment, not able to make any gains on those in front of him, but there's one more lap to go, and Phil Ashcroft is certainly under pressure. John Jeffries goes wide this time. He's been on the inside every time before that. He goes all the way around the outside and makes the best of it. So John Jeffries takes over the lead from Phil Ashcroft in second, and John looks to be taking the first race of the day as the checkered flag is made ready. John takes it, Phil Ashcroft in second. That is number 23 Wade Barrett in third place, and 42 Glenn Phillips in fourth. From Winterburn right on the outside. This could be an interesting one then. As they get underway, we've got best of it, Rob Wilson on the inside as they go into that first turn. And Rob, I think, just got his nose in front as he comes to the middle of the bend. Everybody else and he watched everybody else going hard and fast and drift out wide. He held it in tight, come through the whole of the field to get himself up in front. Tremendous first turn, and now Ron Wilson has got the fighting to do. Fourth place to Duncan Tolhurst. Whoa! How on earth did he miss that tractor? Oh, away we go then. We've reached race 20 in your programme, and it's Glenn Phillips who plays the best start. And it's got quicker and quicker as the day's gone on. First bend. Wayne Barrett's up there. That's what is now third place. Glenn Phillips going very, very well. He's going to take some catches. Oh, he's a rider who wants to go wide. He's riding a very, very difficult race, but making the best of it as he goes again wide to try and get around the outside of Glenn Phillips. You can see exactly what Glenn's doing. He's making himself very, very big in the middle of the bend. It is hard and tight, so as I'm watching those two, I can see that Wayne Barrett's putting down in the middle of the bend. He's picking back up on machinery. Looks to be okay. Now that's interesting that Richard Hall has decided now to cut inside. Just one more lap to go. He knows that Glenn's making it very difficult for him, but he's trying to force a position where he's just into on the inside. Very, very wide up that back straight. Gone wide again, and he's going to all the way around the outside. No, as I say that, he puts it down, and Glenn Phillips does take the win. And not a very pleased Richard Hall, by the look of it. Semi-final as they race down the hill. It is Ron Wilson that starts to show first. Richard Thomas is there with him. Drives Stoneman on the inside of those two. And Richard Thomas on the inside of Ron Wilson. For that top end. Problems to climb Stoneman on that top end. Well, quickly the red flag is being shown. As you can see, we've got that outfit upside down on that top bend. So this is the Salisbury Sizzler final for 2002. The tapes go and we get underway. Watch to see who's made the break. For Ashcroft has had a good one from the middle of the gate. David Howard right there with it, knowing it. David Howard moves around the outside as they go into that first turn. He's gone very, very wide indeed. The rest of the field has come underneath it. So David Howard's not got it all to do as for Ashcroft has taken over. Mitch Gardner's moved through. John Jeffries has moved through as well. But has he recovered? He's recovered into second place. He's dived down the inside. That's a very brave move from David Howard. Was there a gap there? He certainly made one. He's got up the inside and up the back straight he goes. Well, I've talked all afternoon about the ability of this rider. He's gone very, very wide again. The rest of the field having all sorts of problems behind him. John Jeffries puts it down. A little bit too much effort from John Jeffries in that top bit. But as the rest of the field now backed it out, it is David Howard has done it the hard way. He gets himself out in front. He's now going to try and calm himself down a little bit, because I'm sure that's the adrenaline that was taking over. He looks over his shoulder again, and Mitch Gardner's now got up into second place in front of the backdrop. So we've got both the semi-final winners, and David Howard again has gone wide on that bottom bench. I don't know whether he's slightly overgeared it, which is forcing him wide all the time, because again he's gone wide and locks it up and gets to the checkered flag. Oh, what a tremendous rider this is, David Howard. And I'm sure you'll agree that's a tremendous victory. He didn't do it the easy way. He gave people openings, he gave them chances. Tremendous ride from Mitch Gardner in second place, Bill Ashcroft in third. But remember, there will be a presentation. Show your appreciation to the Salisbury Sizzler winner for 2002. Tremendous racing from the youngster, the Wolf Speedway rider, and what a talent he's turning out to be. So the tapes go cleanly this time. It does look as if we've got the first of the sidecar races underway, and leading down past me for the first time. Ivor Matthews on the inside, John Halsey on the outside. Ivor looks to have got the better line into that top bend, but John Halsey has found a gap on the inside, so a challenge down the back straight. This is terrific to start the day with. We've got John Halsey now getting underneath Ivor Matthews, who's forced to push it wide on that pit bend. And you can quickly see that there's plenty of room out there for racing this afternoon. Darrin Wilson lead from Ivor Matthews. But as I say that, Ivor looks for the inside again, so it's all going to be about the gambles on the entrance to the bend. Do you go in hard and fast, risk the fact that you're going to be pushed out in the middle of the bend and leave gaps on the inside? Terrific to see Matt from Roller and Andy Wilson in third place at the moment. They're looking for a way round as well, but if they're not careful, they're going to lose their third place. On the inside of them as they go into the top end. Paul Johnson and Jason Gill working hard in third place, closing up on Ivor Matthews in second. But at the moment, it's all about John Halsey and Darrin Wilson as they lead down into the pit bend. Great scrap going on for that third place. You can see exactly what happens when second is looking for a way round to first. He leaves gaps and third place. Well, and Matt from Roller has been forced to go wide, and he's thought, well, I'll stick with it. Keep the power on, make the track as big as you possibly can, and just keep it flying. So he went right the way around the outside of Paul Johnson, and he looks to be trying it again as he goes round this pit bend. He's certainly let Ivor Matthews know that he's there. And a tremendous way to start the sidecar competition. John Halsey gets the win, but that really was all about first, second, third and fourth. Well, it looks as if whatever trouble it was for Richard Thomas and Kevin Woodley, they've quickly been able to get it sorted. So the clerk of the course does bring everybody back into line. The tapes go, and we're underway with the third of the sidecar this afternoon. Tremendous start for Lee Ray as he goes into that first turn. That's Neville Penfold has gone the long way round on the outside of him. But it is Lee Ray that leads at the moment as they go down the back straight. Neville Penfold and Colin Hill still there in contention, trying to go around the outside, looking for the advantage as they jump into the pit bend. And it is now Neville Penfold and Colin Hill that have got the lead from Lee Ray in second place. A tremendous start for him. Gary Jackson is now moving up on the outside of Lee Ray as he gets himself up into second. So, can Gary Jackson do it the hard way? He is, of course, joint reigning British Masters champion, the top of the sport at the moment. And he's certainly made this one a bit difficult for himself. He's got a very experienced rider, Neville Penfold, in front of him. And Neville looks very much in control. But Gary Jackson will find a way to the finish. And watch to see where he makes his attack, because Gary Jackson looks to be lining Neville Penfold up as they move into this pit bend for the third time. Well, has he chosen the outside? Is he now going to cut back underneath? There's a change in third as well. I think that's Paul Whiteland that's trying to come through. Neville Penfold knows Gary Jackson is there. He's trying to keep the gap shut, but he's had to let Gary Jackson go, has he? No, he's going in front of it. He goes into that top bend. It's forced him to go wide. That means there is a gap on the inside. I expect Gary to go through, and indeed he has, but will Gary go too fast into this pit bend, push it wide? Neville now has got perhaps the advantage as he dives underneath. Is there a gap there? Gary Jackson says no, he's going to make it the checkered flag. He gets the win. Richard Thomas, in fact, has moved his way up through the field and got up into that third spot. We now turn our attention to 250s for the very first time this afternoon. Remember, there are 1 or 2 changes in this class. No Adam Shipp, number 16, no Keith Strudwick, 124, and no 49 John Pilcher. But plenty of riders coming in to take their place, and I'm sure they all were queuing up during the week, waiting for the phone call. Number 16 leading at the moment, or is he? I was going to say Dave Knowles is leading. He's got the lead back again as they go round that pit bend. And Dave Knowles it is that's under pressure as they go up the back straight. And as he left much too much of a gap, you see riders looking for the inside line. Number 75 is Street, number 33 is Richard Smith. Those three have opened a bit of a gap on 4th, 5th and 6th place. But I wouldn't like to guess at the moment who's going to actually take the victory, because Lee Street is pushing hard on Dave Knowles. Gone for the outside this time. Gone for the much faster line on the outside. Dave Knowles hugging the inside flags. Together they come past all going into the last lap. And it is Lee Street that holds at the moment now. Just looking to see whether Richard Smith has made any ground as well. He's in 3rd place at the moment. Dave Knowles has responded and tries to stay more with Lee Street as they go into the top bend for the last time. This is the first time out for the 250s, and it all gets very, very close on the last bend. Richard Smith attacking both of them at the same time. The checker flag goes. Lee Street takes it. Dave Knowles in 2nd and Richard Smith in 3rd. Richard Thomas still with a hand in the air, so he's not quite happy. As the tapes go, they get underway. Looking to see who's made the break as they come past me. It's Darrin Treloar, he's got the lead. John Halsey goes with him though. So we've got both of our first leg winners out together in this one, as we saw the other two in the previous heat. So who can make the best of it? Remember that Duncan Tolhurst and Simon Beanie, whilst they had it all their own way, they weren't competing with anybody really. They did put up a very, very quick time in their first ride. They've obviously got machinery suited to this dimension of the track. At the moment, well, John Halsey can do very little about it as he sits there in 2nd spot watching where Duncan's going. Richard Thomas and Kevin Woodley up in that 3rd spot at the moment. But as they go down the back straight, is John Halsey making any gain at all on Duncan Tolhurst? This is a tremendous ride once again from Duncan Tolhurst. So proving that whilst he might have had it all his own way in the first ride, he can compete. At the moment going extremely well. John Halsey most certainly a bit closer this time as they go down the back straight. Now, usually the gain is on the entrance to the bend. The driver in front has got to take the gamble of when he throttles off. The rider behind can do catch up. There's John Halsey looking for a way round. He's certainly a lot closer this time. It's just one more lap to go. Still the lead held by Duncan Tolhurst. John looks for a wager on the inside this time, then certainly closer down the back straight. And just one more pit bend to go. Duncan in control at the moment. He's got to try and keep the doors shut. Got to make sure there are no gaps for John to get through. Make him work the long way around the outside. That's what he's done, but he hasn't achieved it. Duncan Tolhurst takes the win. John Halsey is going to be settled with a 2nd place. Richard Thomas and Kevin Woodley in 3rd. If you're here somewhere, could you make your way down to the finishing line? Race 17, and we're underway. Neville Penfold making a very good start. Lee Ray, as we saw in the first ride, making a very good start as well. He stayed there in 2nd place as they go into the first turn. Now, interestingly, I was expecting a much quicker start from Matt from Roller, so keep your eye on him. He's in 4th place at the moment. And, of course, we're down to 4 because there's no Dave Steer in the meeting today. Michael Day at the moment in third place. Now, Matt from Roller, you may remember, had a fourth place in his first ride, but he was in amongst some very, very quick outfits, and I wonder if he can make the better of it this time. Looking to go around the outside, Michael Day making his work very, very hard for him. This is a terrific ride from these two outfits. Well, that wasn't easy for Matt from Roller to get through, and you can see he's gone very, very wide on that top bend. And we do look to have lost an outfit on that top bend. Two-leg rides, this the third and last one. So if they have drop points in the early legs, they know they've got to get maximum points. And the strange thing is that all the top point scorers do meet each other in this third leg ride. Made the best of the starts. Well, it looks like Duncan Torres is trying to go around the outside. Rob Wilson is up in the second place, and Duncan Torres challenging again as they go down the back straight. Rob Wilson in there in second place. He'll be looking to try and get the lead from John Halsey as they come off that bottom turn. But John Halsey responds and he stays in front. Getting very interesting now because Duncan Torres has tried to come back at Rob Wilson again. He wants maximum points from this one as well. And the three of them broken away from the rest of the field, and it really is a battle up front. John Halsey and Darren Wilson just leading from Rob Wilson, Tony Miles, Duncan Torres and Simon Beattie. Still there, not out of contention, pushing Rob Wilson on, knowing that if Rob goes for the wide line, they'll be up taking the inside line. And that really is the gamble that Rob Wilson's got to take. Or is he just going to sit in there in second, wait for John Halsey to slide out wide? Rob's much closer to him this time. Well, there's just one more lap to go as they go into that top bend for the last time. It's still the 1, 2, 3 as it was in the beginning. No changes yet. Are they going to wait for the last turn? Is it a do or die effort? Rob Wilson has been forced to go for the wide line. He's gone round the outside. John Halsey knows he's there. He's got to hold it tight but keep it fast. John Halsey does indeed make it, and Rob Wilson doesn't lose his second place. That was the gamble he had to take, and it was a big gamble because Duncan Tolhurst has, in the earlier heats, been one of the quickest outfits down there. So away we go. Who's going to pick up maximum points from race 25 as they come past me? He got very, very close indeed. Problems for Matt from Roller, I think, and he nearly had Richard Thomas going over the top of him. But they got away with it. Richard Thomas is in second place, and while all that was going on, somebody, and I will try and identify who, has got themselves to the front. As they come off that pit bend, it all did get very, very close in front of me here as they went up that first straight. It's Ian Lee Angus just got himself to the front. Richard Thomas chasing him hard though in second place. Matt from Roller in third. All eyes on that first place as Ian Lee Amos and Paul Phillips made the best of that first bend while all the mayhem was going on in front of us here on that starting straight. He just kept on the outside and kept it hard and stayed in front. Richard Thomas just getting closer as they go into that top bend. Has he found a gap on the inside? Look to see how they come out on that top turn, and Richard Thomas has got through. Now he's forced Ian Lee Amos to go very, very wide indeed, so Matt from Roller comes through as well. Oh, that really was unfortunate for Ian Lee Amos. He tried to stay with Richard Thomas, but there was a big, big gap on the inside of him. And Matt from Roller saw it and come through. Now Matt from Roller, in the last lap, will be pushing for the lead as well, because he knows there must be a chance. There is plenty of opportunities to pass on this circuit. He's got very, very close to Richard Thomas as they come down the back straight. He knows he's got one more lap to go. He's seen Rob Wilson try the outside line. He's going to give it a go as well, all the way around the outside. Richard Thomas knows he's there, and it's going to be tight to the line because they're together as they come out. And Matt from Roller's got it. Oh, a tremendous last turn from Matt from Roller and Andy Wilson. I think Richard Thomas locked up in the middle of the bend. That did give them the advantage. They could cut back on the exit of the bend. But a tremendous last bend and a terrific effort from Matt from Roller and Andy Wilson. So, although he's dropped down into the B final, he's got some tough competition in this one as well, because Paul Cooper goes. Number 9, Mitch Godden goes. Number 153. Here's, of course, Thomas Cooper, and indeed, as I say that, they're all underway and looking at that first bend. Pick them out for you as they come round. As it is, in fact, Jason King that's got to the front. He comes past me, leading from Julian Phipps in second. Mitch Godden is up there in third place at the moment, tries to go round the outside, looking for the outside line around Julian Phipps, but while those two are battling, you can see that Jason King has got away. So, great shame perhaps that he wasn't in that A final, but he's certainly showing that he's well capable of winning this B final against some very good company. So, we've lost a machine on this top bend. I think we're going to be seeing a red flag on the far side. We are indeed, as riders slow down.
Fast and furious here at Peasmarsh. 500's on the line again then. We get Trevor Banks in this one. Dave Rumsey goes in this one. Simon Gittings, Vince Kinchin, Paul Cooper, Cooper Man. It's Trevor Banks that leads. Trevor Banks picks it up. Paul Cooper is in second place. Vince Kinchin is right there in third. Dave Rumsey is in fourth. Trevor Banks leads. Paul Cooper edging his way up on the inside. Trevor Banks holding that front running line at the moment. It's Trevor Banks. Paul Cooper fights back. Come on, Paul Cooper goes down, a big one over there. Yellow flags are out. The race continues. Trevor Banks leads. Vince Kinchin in second. Are the remainder of the 500cc competitors: Richard Hall, Mitch Godden, Lee Bartlett, Tom Cooper, Scott Finlayson, Martin Sturgeon, John Pope, Gareth Hickmott, Duncan Brightling and Nathan Irwin. Here they come. Nathan Irwin gets a cracking start off that inside. Mitch Godden goes with him. Mitch Godden goes right around the outside on the first turn. Nathan Irwin have an in-jog battle there in second place. Round the turn they come then. It's Mitch Godden from Tom Cooper, from Nathan Irwin. Martin Sturgeon. Red flags are up. Rider on the bottom turn. Looks like it's Gareth Hickmott. He's up on one knee at the moment. He's on both feet. I thought there was 3 or 4 riders all going for one piece of ground there, but a bit of dust came up and I didn't see what happened. 9, 6, 151, 1, 2, 3, 1 minute 36.75 seconds, 49.41 miles per hour, and here come the screaming 250s. Paul Simmons makes it to the front. Ashley Denham is right there in second place. Gordon Pennings is in third. They're coming up from the past Gordon Pennings now into third place. Twisting the throttle then. Oh, Ashley Denham comes through on Paul Simmons. Paul Simmons fights back on the inside. There's a right ding-dong battle between those two. Then, of course, it is Keith Strudwick. Gordon Pennings. Ashley Denham leads. Paul Simmons from Brook near Ashford, powering on in second place. He almost takes it back. He does. He goes through into the lead. Can Paul Simmons hold it this time? Ashley Denham is fighting round the outside. Paul Simmons wants it on the inside. It is alpha level as they go down that back straight. Put a blanket over the two of them at one point there, but Paul Simmons has gone clear. He has also gone wide. And in comes Ashley Denham. What's going to happen here out of this turn? It's going to be a mad fight. We've got one more lap of this to do. And Ashley Denham has just picked it back up from Paul Simmons. And around the outside goes Keith Strudwick, and he's coming up to take the lead. He's taking it off of the barrel. I bet neither of them expected to see him. Into the last turn then, for the last time. It's a right ding-dong battle between these three. Keith Strudwick goes wide. Ashley Denham comes up on the inside. This is going to be tight. I'll go Keith Strudwick, Ashley Denham, Paul Simmons, Gordon Pennings, Chris Pye, David Costa. Race 26, the right-hand sidecars. Listen to this one. The win for number 62, Vic Torrell and Tony Baisby. Second place, number 24, Rob Wilson and Tony Milo Miles. Give that result out in a moment. On to the third leg we go into the other 350cc solos. And a cracking start for Richard Smith. Richard Smith leading this one. Paul Cooper in second place. Looking a little more his old self. Gareth Hickmott in third. Michael Tucky, Waterloo. Oh, Richard Smith, big wheelies out of that corner, and whilst he's going up, he's not going forwards. Paul Cooper managed to gain a couple of yards there, but not enough to do very much about the running order in this race. We've got 33, Richard Smith putting on the power. Paul Cooper powers through on the inside there, then goes very wide. Richard Smith up on the inside, takes it back again. So it's Richard Smith and Paul Cooper having a right good long back. Adrian Phipps, George Walker, and Michael Tucky, then Walter Neave. And here comes the two on the front line. Second flag is coming out for these two. Richard Smith takes it. Paul Cooper gets second. Gareth Hickmott in third. Can't give you those again later, but this is race 28. It's the 350cc solos. First man away again, Nathan Irwin. With Steve Schofield by start. Bob Dolwood again, hard on his heels. Bob Dolwood, remember last time, lost his chain and ended up pushing home, but he's powering through now. He needs those points, and that poor finish earlier, he's gone up into first place. It's Bob Dolman, Nathan Irwin. Around the turn they come then, 27. Bob Dolman from Nathan Irwin, from Lee Bartlett, from Craig Spears. Around the outside, here they come. Out goes the last lap flag. It's 27 Bob Dolman. Lee Bartlett now gets right in amongst it. Nathan Irwin is there as well in third place. It's a big challenge on the outside. Lee Bartlett is going after Bob Dolman. He's got his front wheel in front. Can he hang on to that? Bob Dolman scorches away again on the inside. Lee Bartlett challenges. He changes line. He tries to cut up on the inside. He's got it going sideways. And here they come to the line. It's going to be tight. And Lee Bartlett picks it up and takes it from Bob Dolman and Nathan Irwin. Then Craig Smith, Matt Etherington, Brian Cornelius. Another big long battle here. Who's it going to be? James Peters and Keith Webb. Will oblige. Race 34, race 35 now on the line. We look for Trevor Banks, who had a non-start in his last race. He's on the line there, he's keen and eager, he's away. Now in the first straight they come, and it's Trevor that picks it up. Dave Rumsey is in second place. There's the first start, and now it's out at the front again, so will 2 wins be enough to take him through into the final? Time will tell. Trevor Banks, Dave Rumsey, Vince Kinchett, Tom Cooper, Martin Sturgeon. Walking out of that pit turn, and number 1, Trevor Banks, still in the lead from Dave Rumsey for 50. Fast. Number 1, Trevor Banks sees the last lap flag from Dave Rumsey. Red flag up.
Robert Curl, Sean Crouch, Stevie Sarrett, Gordon Fennings and Gary Wells. Place your bets now. I think Gary Wells has a good chance, so does Stevie Sarrett, so battle will be on. Here they come, down the first straight. Adam Shipp and Stevie Sarrett going to that first turn. With Sean Crouch and Gary Wells. Oh, somebody went very wide on that turn. I think that was Sean Crouch. I think his mum was out there somewhere. He went waving to her. Here they come then. 16, Adam Shipp. Out in front from Steve Sarrett, from Gary Wells, Gordon Fennings, Sean Crouch, Barry Bates, Mark Harris and Rob Curl. Who's looking interesting on that front line? Look at Stevie Sarrett gaining an extra yard on each lap on the 16 Adam Shipp. It's going to be a tight finish between those two. Gary Wells a little way down in third. Then Sean Crouch, Gordon Fens and Barry Bates. Look at Stevie Siren, he really does make up some ground on that back straight. I don't think he wants Adam Shipp to know he's there. It's going to be a last bend tactic, I think. But he's made the move early and he's come up on the inside. Adam Shipp knows he's there now. He'll go tightly into that turn. Stevie Siren picks it up. Adam Shipp's right there with him though, trying that outside line round there. I think he'll cut back on the inside on this last turn. Just watch this for a tactic. Stevie Siren puts the power on, so does Adam Shipp. It's going to be a close one. Look at that. Oh! I think I'll leave that. I've got my own idea, but I'll leave it to the lap scores for the official result. Third is Gary Wells. Fourth is Sean Crouch. Then Gordon Fennings, Barry Bates and Mark Harris. Official result for you in a moment. We're back on race 10. Race 10, the 500cc solos. Revving up on the line. Race 10 is underway. Darrin Rolfe goes into the first turn first with Sean Tacey snapping at his heels. Darrin Rolfe pulls a big fast one out of that corner. He's gone very wide. He's allowed these other boys to make up a yard or two. Sean Tacey drops back to third. It's a fighting thing on the front line here. Dave Rumsey moving up in that second place. Sean Tacey holding on for third. I know Sean was with Ipswich. I know he's been with Coventry, and I think he's back at Ipswich this year, but you people know better than I. Darrin Rolfe leading this one then. Dave Rumsey in second place, moving up slowly on that front runner. From Sean Tacey in third. He looks like he could lose that third to Chris Mills. Chris Mills really fighting hard there in that fifth spot. Here they come. Fourth spot, that is. The last lap flag is out. Darren Sargent now campaigning a 500cc machine in Sean Tacey. Look alike goes. Oh, down goes Darrin Rolfe. Darrin Rolfe slides to grief on that corner. That was bad luck for him. And we have a red flag. Solos then again on the line then. I have to hold that result of race 14 for you. Race 15, Chris Still makes the best of the start. Then it's Gary Wells. Then it's Paul Simmons. We seem to have lost Lee Street from this event. Perhaps machinery problems are keeping him out, but hopefully somebody will let us know later on, or maybe we'll see him in leg 3. But here they come then. Paul Simmons forces his way through the front past Chris Still. Gary Wells goes after Chris Still as well. It's all action on the front line now. Paul Simmons, adios amigos written on his backside, and that's what he's saying to the rest of this race. You're behind and I'm gone. Gary Wells tries a hard line round the outside there. Paul Simmons takes a look at him. He knows he's not going to get it all his own way for the rest of this race. Paul Simmons leading it on the Yamaha. Gary Wells in second. Gary Wells pushing hard. He comes right up on the inside. It's a tight thing on that corner. They almost touch as they come round there. The clerk of the course did say this is a non-contact sport. On the last lap they go. Gary Wells seeds. Paul Simmons challenges hard. Chris Still has dropped a little bit of ground back in third. Paul Simmons comes right through on the inside there, snatching back that lead. Leaves it all for Gary Wells to do on this last turn. It is the last turn for the last time. There's the checkered flag. It's a win for 31. Paul Simmons. From Gary Wells, Chris Still. 30, 92, 99, 514, 1 minute 05 and 1/5 seconds, 46.9 miles per hour. On to race 23. These are the 500cc solos. They're out there in full force. Oh, we got that man. Look, 2 bikes there tangled up and the red flag straight up there. 514, 1 minute 05 and 4/5 seconds, 46.5 miles per hour. Race 35 is underway, and it's the right-hand side cars again, and it's the Blythe brothers that hit the front. Number 30, additional runners, Stefan and Carl. Oh, we got a tip over there. A little bit of an upset there. Not too sure who it was. One of those two women, as they're both in the same coloured leathers, is to tell which one's up and which one's down. We've certainly got one of them standing up and one of them laying down. I think that's 362, John Thorpe and Ian Howe. Oh, they're both up on their feet. Well, that is good news. 92, Mark Whitelam and Kev Jones. Number 4, James Rogers and Damien Chains. And number 26, Reg Blackbourn and Terry Madley. That's the lineup For the right-hand sidecar final, as they come out of the first turn, RH Blackbourn goes very wide. Paul Whiteland picks it up on the front line. Nearly Amers and Paul Phillips are through into second. The Blythe boys are in third. Then it's John Hiscock and Simon Wall. They come through from third, past the Blythe, from fourth into third, past the Blythes. 92 now leading it. It is Paul Whiteland and Kev Jones from 183. In the Amers and Paul Phillips. They're bunching up on that front line and trying hard to come through. John Hiscock right in there in third place, waiting for a mistake from one of those two front runners. It's all systems go. The last lap flag is out though. It's Paul Whiteland and Kev Jones from Ian Amers and Paul Phillips, from John Hiscock and Simon Wall, from the Blythe brothers. They're all getting so close together as they come on this last lap. Half a lap to go now. Paul Whiteland leads it. Ian Amers wants it. They come round that last turn for the last time. Here, there was very close at the finish. I must leave that to the lap scorers. I can't really influence their decision. Well, what a race. What a finish.
Good crowd here this afternoon. Like to see you follow the Grasstrack round. Next week we're going to Wainfleet. You coming? Here they come, down the first straight, and Ray Westbrook hardly away this time. Problems, he's got that back wheel spinning now. I think he bogged down on the line. Unfortunate that, away first last time. Now comes number 90, Mike Day, another newcomer. On the Grasstrack, he's in X10, and he throws into that corner. Trevor Colvin is the passenger. Mike Day and Trevor Colvin from Paul Whiteland and Kev Jones. Fresh back from his accident up at the Swingfield Minnis circuit. Mike Day throwing it sideways round that turn. Paul Whiteland trying to get the inside run on him. And there's a battle there between John Stafford and Steve Smith, and Ray Westbrook bringing up the rear. Round the turn they come then, side by side, and Mike Day taking a little wider line there, tightening up on that corner, not going to leave any room for Paul Whiteland. John Stafford and Carl Squirrel in third. Carl working hard on the back of that machine for John Stafford. And Steve Smith, Dave Williams bringing up the rear. Oh, almost touches he come in that corner. Problems for Mike Day. He's got it going again and he comes in. For Paul Whiteland, second for Michael Day, third for John Stafford, and fourth for Steve Smith. Race 17, the 500cc solos, and Dave Rumsey scorches off the inside of that bridge. That is Gareth Hickmott, then it's Martin Sturgeon and Chris Mills. Dave Rumsey powering out of that turn. Julian Phipps is right there with him. Gareth Hickmott in third. Gaining on Julian Phipps. Julian Phipps out with problems. Well, that's bad news for Julian. He's been doing very well here this afternoon. Dave Rumsey goes out. Gareth Hickmott picks it up. From Chris Mills, from Martin Sturgeon. From Paul Skybridge. Julian Phipps back in. Then Adrian Hart. Jerry Izzard. Flat out and round they come then. It's number 7. Gareth Hickmott leading Chris Mills. Chris Mills trying to line up an inside line on Gareth Hickmott. Saw some beautiful photos of him from High Easter the other week, and he meets business here this afternoon as he gains on Gareth Hickmott as he comes into that turn. Round the outside, he shows him the front wheel. Gareth Hickmott cracks on the throttle, holds that tight line. One more lap to go in this epic battle. It's Gareth Hickmott from Chris Mills. From Martin Sturgeon, from Julian Phipps. Gareth Hickmott goes wide. Chris Mills coming up on the inside. Will he get by this time as they enter the last turn? For the last time, Chris Mills goes to the outside run again. He's put the motor on. He's really coming round that turn fast. Gareth Hickmott goes with him, but it's Chris Mills that takes it on the line. So Gareth Hickmott in second. Then Martin Sturgeon.
Third place
This is one man that has been here before riding a solo machine. He's come back on a 500. He said to me this morning when he interviewed him that he will enjoy this circuit.
Right-hand sidecars on the line and off they go. Up the first straight we get Mark Sharrock, Duncan Solhurst, Dave Steer, Ian the Amis and Matthew Terrell leading into that first corner. Only 4 from 5. From 69. Matthew Terrell from Ian the Amis from Mark Sharrock. Dave Steer conspicuous by his absence at the moment. And that's a shame because he's one of the top contenders here. 69's taken him from Duncan Solhurst when I wasn't looking. Matthew Terrell going for gold here this afternoon. Duncan Solhurst right there in second place and pushing hard, trying to take that first place back again, and the Indy Aim is waiting in the wings for anybody to make a mistake. 69, 74, 183. Duncan Solhurst trying that long way round as through goes Ian the Aim as he was waiting for a mistake and he found it and he goes through. Duncan Solhurst comes back at him right hard on the inside. They go round that bank. 69, that's the last one. His second flag is held. 69 takes the win, 74 takes second and 183 takes third. 16 in fourth place. Oh, what another cracking race. It's all afternoon, so's Phil Ambrose and Malcolm Simmons. So what will happen here? The tapes fly, we're about to find out. Mitch Cotton gets the best of the start from Phil Ambrose and Malcolm Simmons there in third place. Down the backstroke. Mitch Cotton has a little look over his shoulder to see where Phil Ambrose is. He knows he's going to be... Oh, there goes Phil Ambrose. Phil Ambrose has thrown a load of points away there. What was I saying before this leg started? It's not a good time to throw away points. Go then, let's hope for a clean break this time. Start Marshall happy, tapes are gone, here they come. Jason King and Malcolm Simmons get a great start. Andrew Appleton's through on the inside. Jason King goes down. Jason King is down on the top floor, the red flag is up. Jason King is up and okay. I think he's right out in the ropes there, but he's up and okay and waving his arms about. They're off. Here they come up the first straight. Got the front wheels lifted up there. They go at the first turn. Mitch Cotton comes in from the outside alongside of Phil Ashcroft. Phil Ambrose is in there in third place. Number 9, Mitch Cotton. On 36 points accumulated so far. Phil Ambrose goes down again. He's thrown it away in the same place as he did before. Getting in the final, lying in joint third place at the moment. Time will tell. Up they go. Dave Steer makes the break. Richard Thomas is right there with him. And so is Michael Day as they come out of that top corner. Making the dust fly. Big Tower comes through, does he? Very close stuff. This is... what it's all about, chaps, getting through to that Masters final is where your ratings will be for the next year. Where does everybody want to be? At the top of the ratings? All over goes Michael Day, and they swing his Michael Swing there. Up that back straight, the red flags are out. Revs rise, tapes fly, here they come. Mitch Cotton makes the best of the start, he's away. Andrew Appleton is in third place at the moment, Phil Ashcroft was in second. What happens as they go around the corner? Andrew Appleton is in there in second place. Phil Ashcroft in fourth. Here they come. Phil Ashcroft wants to get past Mitch Cotton. He wants to get as many points as he can out of this race because it's his only way to get through. He follows Mitch Cotton. Mitch Cotton hammering home here. He's going for gold as he comes round that turn. Phil Ambrose is throwing the bike after him. Down he goes again in exactly the same place. He's thrown it all away. 4 times now this afternoon. Would you believe it? Around they come then. Mitch Cotton. 1 more lap to go. Phil Ashcroft. Chasing King and Andrew Appleton. Andrew Appleton was going through on a clean sweep earlier on. Well down the placings now, but it's the first that counts, not the places in this race. This race though, out of the last turn comes Mitch Cotton. The checkered flag is all his. Will Ashcroft gets second, Jason King in third, Andrew Hamilton fourth, then Bob Dolman, Stevie Green.
2, Chris Still, 75, Lee Street. Number 50, Paul Beachy, not ready to come in. Now this is what we didn't want. He's got clutch problems, I think. He's going to try and chase in from the back. And there they go. Round the first turn, it is Lee Street that picks it up. Adam Shipp going to go at him on the inside down that back straight now. Gary Wells there in third place. It's L for Leather as Adam Shipp picks it up. Lee Street is right in there behind him and pushing hard. It's Adam Shipp that picks it up here from Lee Street. Lee Street trying that outside line on him. Lee Street trying to get on the inside down that back straight. Changes to the outside as he enters into that corner, but Adam Shipp seems to have the best of it at the moment. Much wider circuit here this afternoon, the European circuit at High Easter. It's 16, Adam Shipp from 75, Lee Street from Gary Wells, David Knowles, Barry Bates, Chris Still, Ben Morby. And the race continuing. Look at that battle on the front line. There's no love lost there as Lee Street tightens it up on the inside. Can he come through? He comes right up alongside. He's just got the advantage. He goes into that next turn. It's Lee Street from Adam Shipp. Adam Shipp trying to have a go back now, but Lee Street just pulling away slightly down that back straight. Adam Shipp now comes in much faster. He's trying it on the inside. He's got right in there. Can they do it? It comes up now to the checkered flag. 75, Lee Street takes it. Adam Shipp in second place. I think we're going to get some good racing out of them this afternoon. Then it was 70, Gary Wells. Then David Knowles, Chris Still. Somebody else, Chris Morby, Colin Mandry, Barry Bates. Barry Bates' old leathers confused me and made me say that was Barry Bates up further when it wasn't. Oh, we're on our way now with race 5, 350cc solos. Craig Smith touches the tape as he pulled back the start and let them go, and Craig Smith gets a slightly lesser start than he would have done if he could have preempted it. Matt Etherington goes to the centre green with problems, and we have a faller on that first turn. The yellow flags or red flags are out, so we are stopping the race in the interest of safety. I think that's Darren Sargent on the floor over there. Under starter's orders, the revs rise, the tapes fly, and there they go. Paul Cooper from the inside, making a mad dash round the first turn. He just came off those inside pegs a little bit, left about 6 foot between him and the flags, and powered through to the front. Stevie Green there in second place, pushing hard after Cooperman. Or is it? Flat out they come round that turn, it is indeed. It's 11, Paul Cooper from 153 now, Tom Cooper, no relation. Then Stevie Green, then Gareth Hickmott and Paul Knott. And the racing goes on. We have a lovely day up here. The sun just behind a few clouds. It's not roasting us badly. It's not too hot and sweaty temperament. It's number 11, Paul Cooper. It's number 153, Tom Cooper. Then it's Stevie Green, fresh in from his Masters qualifying performance down there at Peasmarsh. Then it's Gareth Hickmott. He's just lost a place, unfortunately. Round they come then. Number 11, Paul Cooper at the last lap flag, from Tom Cooper, from Stevie Green, from Martin Williams, from Gareth Hickmott, from Paul Knott. Nick Owen and Ian Leverington. Checkered flag out. Number 11, Paul Cooper takes the win from Tom Cooper, from Stevie Green and Gareth Hickmott. We have 2 fallen riders down there. Martin Williams is one. I think Paul Knott is the other. 27, John Hathaway is a non-starter. We look for 8, Andy Kerrison and Steve Ashby. 1, 2, 3, Paul Moorcock and Scott Dunn. 9, Keith Drury and Richard Webb. And 3, Lester Goodwin and Andy Stevens. And away they go down the first straight. Another cracking start for Lester Goodwin from the outside there as he runs right round the outside on the first turn. He gets his nose in front. It's all action stations down that back straight. Look at those 4 outfits. You can put all to the back of a transit van as they come round. And Keith Drury goes round the outside this time. Keith Drury comes over to second. We have an outfit tipped over there. Look like Paul Moorcock has gone over. Andy Kerrison there with him. And the race being stopped on the flags and the hooters. .350 solos then come back into line again to do battle in this, the rerun of the 350cc after the full start. A lovely clean start this time, and Paul Cooper gets the best of it. Richard Smith goes with him. Simon Davies in there as well. What a good front three. Then Paul Bloomfield. Although he lost a couple of places there at the exit of that corner, but going into that turn now, it's Richard Smith and Paul Cooper side by side. Paul Cooper getting it all locked up and going places in front. Richard Smith hanging onto his back wheel. Simon Davies still in there. Then it's Andy Gobb, Ben Morby. 7, Gilbert Jarrett. Paul Bloomfield, Terry Massingham. It's all happening at High Easter. Number 11 then, Paul Cooper. From Richard Smith. From Simon Davies, from Ben Morby, from Andy Gobb. Richard Smith chasing hard after Paul Cooper. This looks like a 6-lapper as well. Richard Smith hanging on in there. Paul Cooper. Got it all his own way at the moment. Here's Richard Smith biding his time like Martin Hagen did with him this up here last year. Round the pits turn, Richard Smith is not losing an inch. I think he's saving his best till the last bit. There's 2 more laps to go if my calculation is right. And Richard Smith is wearing him down slowly. He'll keep pushing on that outside line till the last lap, and he'll sneak through if he can make it on the inside, mark my words. Paul Cooper knows he hasn't shaken him off. Can he push Paul Cooper into a mistake? Here they come, last lap. Richard Smith going for the inside. Now or never if he's going to do it. Simon Davey in second place. Through goes Richard Smith on the inside. Paul Cooper fighting back down the outside. They haven't quite made it. The plan was there. The plot was in place. Side by side they come round that corner. Richard Smith has caught the back wheel of him and he's gone right over the top. High side of his machine. Paul Cooper takes the win. Richard Smith lays down, I think, in some pain on the track there. And the red flags are out, but not till after the checkered flag, so the result will stand.
Well, race 44, left-hand sidecars. A lot of people tend to give the left-handers a bit of stick because they might not turn out as well as what they normally do. But if you want to see a close finish, you just watch this race. It is unbelievable.
There go the tapes. It was a clean break. Not everybody seemed to want to come up to the tapes, but at least nobody was rolling. Steve Maitland and Dave Hollands make it to the front line. Number 81, Chris Downs and Steve Dowling is there in second place. Tony Penfold coming through from third up to second. Sets his sights on the back wheel of Steve Maitland. What's going to happen here? Steve Maitland and Dave Hollands comfortably in front at the moment. Can Tony Penfold reel them in? All happening at High Easter. Those three outfits, I didn't quite know whether to say anything or not as they went round that corner. Didn't want to jinx anything. Round they come then. 1-2-1. Steve Maitland. Dave Hollands. A good lead ahead of Tony Penfold and Carl Bell. Then it's 19, Dominic Norton and Peter Taylor on the Honda Firestorm. And Chris Downs and Steve Dowling. And Mike Downs, Nathan Brown having a right ding-dong battle at the back there between themselves. Last lap flag is up. 1-2-1. And 25 are hard at it. Tony Penfold now knows this is his last chance to get it. And I'm not sure whether it'll be a win or a draw if he manages to win this one with Steve Maitland in second place. I'm fairly sure if he stays in second place he won't win the meeting. They go into the last turn together. It's shoulder to shoulder. It's hot stuff. You can put them both in the back of a transit van as they come round that turn, and who's it going to be? The battle is on to the finish line. The checkered flag is out. It's tight stuff. Oh, I don't want to say who did what there. They was elbow to elbow across that line.
Come on in, you tell me when you saw a better finish to a race than that. These left-handers are looked on as the poorer class of Grasstrack racing, but boy, look at this finish. Tony Penfold literally gets up by the width of a tyre, and although they had scored the same scores through the legs, Steve Maitland done the sporting gesture, so instead of having a run-off, he actually gave it to Tony Penfold because Tony had beaten him in that race. But I'd love to have seen those two race off for the title. I really would. It would have been another cracking heat.
Make your mind up time. This is the 500cc sidecar final. 3, Lester Goodwin and Andy Stevens. 10, Tony Cook and Daniel Crawford. 9, Keith Drury and Richard Webb. 71, Raz Palmer and Danny Hogg. 4, Simon Beard and Richard Sweeting. And 23, Tony Stark and Darren Wood. There they go, down the first straight. Who's it going to be? Alpha Leather into the first corner. Beating up is Raz Palmer. 71, Raz Palmer coming good in the final. In second place at the moment is Lester Goodwin. He chases after Raz hard on this, the High Easter European circuit. What a lovely track it is. What a gorgeous day's racing we've had. And Raz Palmer is leading the 500cc final from Lester Goodwin. From Simon Beard. Oh, we didn't need that little bit of coming together there of those two sidecars, and out goes Richard Webb and out goes Tony Stark. 4 outfits only remaining in this one. And they're on their way round. Raz Palmer is leading it. Lester Goodwin is in second place and pushing hard on the outside. Is it going to be another one of those tricks where he push hard on the outside right to the last corner? Lester Goodwin does seem to have a little bit more speed going into that corner, but he needs to get the race in line, and Raz Palmer won't give it away voluntarily. Raz Palmer and Danny Hogg, Lester Goodwin and Andy Stevens fighting it out on the front line. Then Simon Beard and Richard Sweeting. Then Barry Bennett and Steve Tong. Now just watch these last two because there's the closing laps coming up. Round that pits turn, Lester Goodwin gets a good inside run, but Raz Palmer won't let him in there. Raz Palmer keeps making him go round the outside, and we've got 2 more laps to go of this thrilling chase. What's going to happen? Raz Palmer, a very experienced campaigner, getting the grip to the ground where he needs it. Lester Goodwin fighting hard in second place. He knows how hard it's going to be to get past this man. They come round that pits turn one more time. They will see the last lap flag in front of them. They'll know it's now or never, and Lester Goodwin comes through. Lester Goodwin comes through. Raz Palmer relegated to second position there. Lester Goodwin now powering down that back straight. Raz Palmer in second place chasing him. Into the last turn they come. Lester Goodwin got it all his own way now as Raz Palmer chases round in second place. The checkered flag goes. A win for Lester Goodwin and Andy Stevens. Second Raz Palmer and Danny Hogg. Followed by Simon Beard and Richard Sweeting. And then Barry Bennett and Steve Tong. Look for the young pretender, you got 153, Tom Cooper. Look for the man who does things unexpected, you got 60, Stevie Green. Look for regular talent, you get 26, Mark Giles. It's going to be a cracker, and here they go. Heading off into the first turn, Paul Cooper gets the best of it. Paul Cooper rounds the first turn, he's flat out and going for gold. The race has been stopped. There's a big pile up on the first turn. Jason King is down, and somebody else is down on the floor as well. Didn't really see what happened there, so can't pass you any comments, I'm afraid. Jason King is up and okay. The other lad looks like he's still on the floor. There they go then, the 500cc solos are underway once more. Flat out of the turn they go then. Number 11, Paul Cooper. Number 50, Phil Ambrose, challenging in second place. Paul Cooper wheelies a little bit down the straight and pulls a few yards clear. Paul Cooper sideways out of that turn. Phil Ambrose right there alongside. He's not going to waste any. Tom Cooper in third. And Stevie Green and Gareth Hickmott. Mark Ferry. Tim Wrecker Mount. Look at those two on the front line. Very fast. 11, Paul Cooper. 50, Phil Ambrose. Then Tom Cooper and Stevie Green. Gareth Hickmott, Mark Ferry, Tim Wrecker Mount, Craig Smith, Martin Sturgeon. Yellow flag is up there. We had a fallen rider. I think it was Tom Cooper, was it? He's back on an okay. Round they come then. Last lap now. Oh, Phil Ambrose very wide. Paul Cooper still holding on to it. Paul Cooper taking the wide line, and Phil Ambrose trying to come on terms on the inside. They're on the last lap, half a lap to go. Round this turn for the last time. Paul Cooper seems to have it his own way. Phil Ambrose isn't giving up. They come up to the line now. It's Paul Cooper that wins. Phil Ambrose in second place. Then Mark Ferry, Gareth Hickmott, Tim Mount, Craig Smith, Martin Sturgeon. What a lovely day's racing we've had here this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Riders all ready, under starters orders. Tapes up and away we go. Clive Holland gets the best of the start, Dominic Hall goes with him. Hell for leather into that first turn. Clive Holland down the back straight, smoking like a trooper. That's the engine, not his... 27. Clive Holland. Going a little bit wide, but he's now in second place. It's nice up. Dominic Doyle in there in third. Dominic Doyle using the Honda VTR finest to 1000cc Honda V-twin. Billy Penfold goes right round the outside, powering down that straight towards victory. 27, Clive Holland in second place. It's all happening here at Hawley. Dominic Doyle and Peter Taylor in third place. Somebody's got a big misfire on there, not sure which one it is. I think it's Clive Holland, the way his machine has slowed up there. See it smoking rather badly earlier. It might not be his at all. Oh! Paul Grayson's lost his passenger and it's straight into the ropes for him. He's managed to stop the machine in those ropes okay. The wrecking fence working superbly up there on the top end. 500cc solos for the first time this afternoon here at Hawley. Lining up on the line, Matt Etherington, Tim Mount, Tom Cooper, P. Havel, Adrian Harden, Mitch Godden, they're away. Mitch Godden gets in a first straight first. Mitch Godden coming back hard at Phil Ambrose on that turn then. Phil Ambrose taking... Matt Reid there in second place, gets all crossed up. It's Phil Ambrose, from Mitch Godden, from Matt Reid, from Mark Giles, from Tom Cooper, from Martin Sturgeon, Tim Mount. It's all happening here at Hawley. Wilson in goes out with problems. I think his chain came off there, I'm not sure, but away they come then. We've got the front three are hard at it. Matt Reid trying to come through on the inside. We've got Phil Ambrose, Matt Reid, and Mitch Godden. Flat out down the back straight then. Number 50, Phil Ambrose leads it. He throws it into that corner hard and sideways with Matt Reid right in close attendance behind him, and Mitch Godden is there as well. Mitch Godden going a little bit wide on that corner. With his brand spanking new engine. Just running it in at the moment. Look at that, Matt Reid going through on the inside there. It's devastating stuff down that back straight. Phil Ambrose won't let him get away with it lightly. Look at them coming around there side by side. It's all the tight stuff as they come round the corner. Who's it going to be as the checkered flag comes out? Matt Reid takes it from Phil Ambrose in second place. What a scorcher. Mitch Godden running in the new GM. Then it's Mark Giles and Tom Cooper. Martin Sturgeon, Matt Etherington. Out in two classes this afternoon. And 117, Tim Mount. What I call strimmers. Race 21. Clive Willis had a win first time out, so did Lester Goodwin. What's going to happen here? We have a little bit of topsy-turvy on the start line. The race is being permitted to carry on, so round the first turn they come then. Looks like Raz Palmer leading, looks like Lester Goodwin in second place. Down the back straight they go then. A little bit of a problem on the start. The red flags are now out. The red flags are now out. More about those dates and things later. These are the 500cc sidecars. The rerun of race 21 and number 1 Clive Willis. At the moment, Lester Goodwin on the inside, going up the inside of Raz Palmer. Raz Palmer sliding back into second place and cutting back underneath, and what a great manoeuvre there by Raz Palmer as he goes back out in front. Can he hold on to it though? Lester Goodwin, the 4 times British champion, is right there after him in second place. Raz takes a little bit of a step off the brakes, cuts back nicely as he comes around that turn. Lester Goodwin's right there. It's Raz Palmer and Lester Goodwin and Andy Stevens, Clive Willis and Mike Simpson.
It's all happening on that front line. Look at Lester Goodwin going after Raz Palmer on the outside. Down the straight they go. Raz Palmer just holding on to it from Lester Goodwin and Andy Stevens in second place. Fast and furious round the pits turn. It's all action here in the international sidecars. It's 71, Raz Palmer and Danny Holt. Mike Simpson. Then Pete Langdon. And then Rob Wright, Rowan Meredith. Oh, it's all happening at Hawley. Watch that Lester Goodwin. He's aiming up on the inside this time as he goes into that pits turn. Throws it sideways. Raz Palmer and Danny Holt holding on to a slender advantage as they come past the last lap flag now. And Andy Stevens, 4 times British champion, second place. Ex-British champion, once win for Raz Palmer, he holds on to it. Through goes Lester Goodwin on the inside, it's right side stuff as they go into that last turn. Raz Palmer won't give an inch. Lester Goodwin pushing hard in second place. They come up to the line. Who's he going to be? It is Raz Palmer and Danny Holt from Lester Goodwin and Andy Stevens. Clyde Willis and Mike Simpson. And Pete Langdon and Kay Colborne. And 33, Rob Wright and Roland Meredith. What a race that was. Oh dear, thrown it away on the start line there. A big wheelie for somebody. August Bank Holiday Sunday. Here in the sunshine, we hope. Pressurised tapes fly. There they go. Down the back straight. It's the big A final for the right-hand chariots. 92, Paul Whitelam and Kev Jones get down to the first turn first. John Hiscock and Simon Wall going right round the outside on the first turn, and Miles Simmons and Dave Hogan trying to come up on the inside. Right there in fourth place, Cindy Lowen in fifth. It's hell for leather on the front line here. John Hiscock and Simon Wall just getting a few yards clear of number 92, Paul Whitelam and Kev Jones. Look at that, Miles Simmons and Dave Hogan waiting to come through from third place. And John Gorman and Hale bringing up the rear. Well, we've got a race in our hands, ladies and gentlemen. Look at them climbing all over each other's bikes as they come round that corner. Fighting for position, jostling for the right line. They come up for the last lap flag. And Kev Jones trying to go around the outside there, and Miles Simmons, Dave Hogan trying to come up on the inside. It's all battle down that back straight. Half a lap left in today's racing. It'll be time to go home. Round the corner they come then, they tighten up. You could put them all in the back of a transit van as they come round here. Who's it going to be at the finish? It's going to be tight. Tight it is. Johnny's got racing from Miles Simmons, Paul Whitelam and Lee Ray, Neil Owen and Sean Thorpe.
Right, we have a 9th place in race 3, I'm told, and that's 414. Oh, here we go. Is it going to be the former champion, Raz Palmer? Or who is it going to be? Into the first turn. It is Palmer with Simon Beard on the inside. And things getting very, very close. Simon Beard is very tight line on the first turn. Somebody's lost the silencer, whether it's Raz or Simon, I don't know, but the silencer's gone. And thinking for Simon Beard, but Raz Palmer it is who leads from Beard in second place, and in third place there Brian Canning and Stephen George, so it's Palmer who leads. Beard in second, Brian Canning on the single line in third place. The Stafford Rangers right up with them in third place as they go into the bottom turn for the second time. It's Palmer still with Danny Hogue in the chair, leading by about 5-10 metres. From Simon Beard and Bob Drews and Brian Canning behind them in fourth place. Paul Moorcock and Scott Johnson. Brian Canning having a right line here. Absolutely superb those third place. Brian coming into second. And Raz Palmer has gone away about 20 metre lead, 30 metre lead as they go into the last lap. Simon Beard again, a tight line into the turn to our right. And Brian Canning still going. Here comes Canning. It's not quite. It looks as though he's going to just go through on the inside, take up that second place, and look at this. Super stuff on the bottom turn. And over goes Beard, and that was close racing, to put it mildly. So a win for Raz Palmer. Number 71 with Danny Hogg in the chair. Second place to 49, Brian Canning and Steve George. We'll confirm that in just a moment, but a spill on the bottom turn. for Simon Beard and Bob Graves, and let's hope they're okay. But coming together there on that bottom turn, and right, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Clive Willis and Mike Sampson, or is it going to be Chris Salisbury, or who's it going to be? Away we go into the first turn, and it's neither of them. It's Mike Reed and Mark North. This is close racing. This is crazy stuff. Three abreast into the bottom turn on Chris Salisbury's car. Two of the best guys in the business. I shouldn't say anything, should I? They'd probably break the tapes in this one now. No, good clean start. And what have we got? Tony Stark. So, number 23, Tony Stark leads. This is close stuff. Right through the bunch there in about 4th places. They go in the bottom corner, but it's 23's Tony Stark and Darrin Wood, and a little bit of close riding there. And Raz Palmer then comes through in the second. Willis and Tony Cook getting all tangled up, and it's all close up. They go down the right place for the second time. And Raz Palmer now in the second, but it's Tony Stark and Darrin Wood, the relative new kids on the block, out in front. Tony Stark, the ex-Solar rider, then leads the semi-final. In second place, Raz Palmer, then Tony Cook, then Willis behind him, and look at Cookie trying to go through on the inside of Raz, and Raz holds it off now. Tony Stark, and here comes Palmer. Round the outside of Tony Stark with a lot to go. It's anybody's race. Tony Stark on the inside, Raz Palmer on the outside. Tony Cook's not out of it. Tony Cook incredibly tight, but here comes Palmer. I'm just going to show up, just watch tremendous stuff. Brian Palmer into the bottom corner. Has he gone too far? Has he gone wide? No! Hooks it back and Palmer gets there. Second place goes close between Tony Cook and Tony Stark. Then Clive Willis. And behind Clive Willis, Keith Richards. Behind Keith Richards, Dave Higgins. That was some race. Right. Second semi-final, 350s this event, supported by P.A. Thomas, Plumbing and Heating of Telford. Is it going to be Handley Benefit or not? We've got Tony Atkins. Away we go. Tony Atkins leads into the first turn. It is Atkins leading. Oh, Atkins. Richard Smith through from nowhere, but it's Handley who leads. Smith in second, Atkins in third. Tony Atkins really got to the point of no return on that first turn. Got away with it, but he's dropped him. And the spear and Richard goes down. Richard Smith has gone. It looks as though he took a knock. And the red flags are out, so the race is stopped. And Richard Smith has obviously taken a knock. Let's hope he's okay, but he certainly went down at quite a rate of knots. We're about to go with the second 350 semi. We look to our left, and here we go. Jason and Tony as they go into the first turn, and it's Atkins and Tony Atkins. Pulls round about 5 metres on Jason as they go into the bottom turn, but Jason will lock up, come back on the inside, which he does, and they're absolutely side by side. Jason Handley it is then who takes it up, but Tony Atkins is leading the end, and I know Tony's going to be on 30 again. That's crazy, I ain't going to go at that speed again, but they keep doing it. It's magic stuff for us, but it's crazy. Atkins, Handley. And if you don't believe me, this is Tony Atkins on the limit. Absolutely on the limit for Atkins. There's no question of that. Nearly loses the front wheel. Handley nearly alongside him again, but Atkins absolutely flying. But forgetting about the rest. Dave runs his own turn. And it's still unbelievable stuff. It's Handley on the outside, it's Atkins on the inside, but Handley's going to get there. Jason Handley gets it. He wins it. Second place goes to Tony Atkins. Third place to Dave Rumsey, 110. Fourth place goes to number 83, Nathan Irwin. Behind him, number 2, Craig Smith. But those pairs, how many times over the years have we seen those pairs absolutely side by side? That's Colin Howe. They're all on the line. 4 laps to determine the British champion. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Lee Street, the 2000 champion, or Thomas? Or who's it going to be? Street and Wadsworth. Wadsworth on the inside and a pull start from Graham Thomas. And Graham Thomas is down. Oh no! We lose Graham on the first turn. Look at this! This is unbelievable! Wadsworth, what is he doing? Leading? Not quite! It's Ship! Wadsworth! This is unbelievable stuff! Ship in front, Street in second, Wadsworth in third! We're going to see a run-off, surely! It's Street gets it all wrong into the bottom turn! Wadsworth back in about 4th at the moment, Adam Ship leads, Street in second, and here comes Jason. Jason stopped, but it's Wadsworth back in 4th as they go around the top turn. 4. Here comes Stott. If Stott gets past Street, then Ship wins the championship. And he's past him. He's through. No, he isn't. It's Lee Street back in second. It's all about this second spot. Chase Stott battling with Lee Street. We're into the last lap. It's into the last turn. Here comes Stott. If Stott gets second, we'll see a run-off. It's Ship. It's Ship who wins. And Stott is second. Wow. That is absolutely unbelievable stuff. And Graham Thomas, the man who desperately wanted to win it, well, he went down. What a turn up for the book. That is unbelievable.
Well, here we go, the 500cc sidecar final, and Lester Goodwin, number 3, needs to beat Raz Palmer. And it turns out to be probably the most controversial race of the day. I'll let you decide for yourself.
Right, we look to our left. Oh, nearly an end over end on the line by Lester Goodwin, and it's Palmer who leads into the first turn, but here comes Lester up the inside, but it's Raz Palmer and Lester Goodwin. And that is was a triangle, and Brian Palmer is not happy about that, so we'll see what the clerk of the course does about that. And we're into the top turn for the second time, and in the middle we got a leg, we got Brian Palmer's leg stuck in the bike, I think, so we got a nasty one. I don't know whether this is going to be stopped, but we have got a nasty one in the middle, and whether Keith aware of that, I don't know. We got Tony Cook in the middle. We've wandered across the track. No red flag, the race continues, so we look to our left, and with a circle nearly from Lester Goodwin. But he holds on to it. Clive Will is still there in second. In third place, it is still Tony Stark, and in 4th place behind him, number 57, Mike Root and Mark North. There's Farmer over there in the middle, and Mark Wadsworth gone over to help, I think, but the race continues. The checkered flag, the winner is Lester Goodwin and Andy Stevens. Second place goes to number 4, Simon Beard and Bob Greaves. Third place to number 23, Tony Stark and Darren Wood. And 4th place to number 57, Mike Reed and Mark North. So, we'll give you that result as we see it.
Off the line they go then, for race 7. Good start on the inside for Mitch Gordon. Daniel Winterton right by the side of him. The pegs fly up. But it is Daniel Winterton doing it. Oh, we have a corner rider going high-sided down there. Hopefully he's okay. I think he's getting up. Medical staff just checking him over. With the kids not long breaking up. That's absolutely superb. Here we go off the line for race 27. Paul Knott, it is, Paul Knott, and so it's not the Winterton And Northern Pairing is not in this one. Let's look at this for first race battle, first lap battle. Keeping it tight on the inside is Matt, but losing out there. Paul Knott, Matt Reed, with holding back Paul Cooper. Paul Cooper is not going to give up. We've seen what he can do. Paul Cooper is trying on the inside, trying to get up with the front two, but the reigning British Best Pairs champions still holding off Paul Cooper, but for how long? Paul Knott, Matt Reed, Paul Cooper side by side. Paul Cooper goes right around the outside of Matt Reed. Now he's looking at Paul Knott. He comes alongside Paul Knott, side by side, but still Paul Knott holds on. Now Paul Cooper tries again. Just look at the style of Paul Cooper as he goes around. Just incredible racing for this young man. But Paul Knott is holding him. Paul Knott is holding him off. Matt Reed's just keeping a watching brief. Paul Knott tries to go around the outside again. Has he done it this time? Paul Knott's not going to give up in a hurry, but it looks like Paul Cooper's done it. Paul Cooper then now leads from Paul Knott, and then Matt Reed in third place. But as you can see, Paul Knott is going to fight all the way, but checker flag went to Paul Cooper. Incredible racing here of the British Best Pairs. Tony Atkin it is, Paul Cooper by the side of him, then David Rumsey, then Neil Taylor, that's the order. But it's Tony Atkin there in front. And Neil Taylor is right there, he's in fourth place at the moment. David Rumsey tucked into third place just ahead of Neil Taylor. Paul Cooper going well in second place. All problems there as one rider goes down into the dust there. I think that was Dave Rumsey. Tony Atkin then marches on. And the red flag has gone out, the race has been stopped in the interest of safety. And of course Tony Atkin slowing down straight away. He saw the flags being waved. True professional there. Hopefully Dave's okay. Just going to check him over before the rerun. On we go with the 500 final, and it's Tony Atkin and Mitch Goddard who lead. And the yellow flags have gone up. We have
Now the finishers, the winner's time was 1 minute 29.18 seconds, an average speed of 46.02 miles per hour. Tom Cooper likes to start in this one. Finn Ambrose goes with him and Mark Giles. L for leather on their turns. Tom Cooper leads it. Finn Ambrose challenging on the outside. Finn Ambrose high, wide and handsome. Tom Cooper right in there with him. Then Mark Giles. Then Kevin Buck and Robin Belcher. Out of that corner goes 50, Phil Ambrose, from Tom Cooper, from Mark Giles, looking for his old self today. He had earlier in the year, and it's Kevin Buck, Robin Belcher. Giles, 27, Kevin Buck, 153, Tom Cooper, 174, Robin Belcher, 73 and 2, and here they come there in the first line. Phil Ambrose, well, slow off that start, but with big problems there for him as he now powers his way to the outside of who was the win. This was the first one. He's giving it a big and he's wide and handsome. That is what I call wide as well. 19, Chris Mills from 26, Mark Giles. Phil Ambrose is already up to third place, pushing hard after our time. That wide line is absolutely flat out to go for the 500cc final. 19, Chris Mills, Phil Ambrose, Mark Giles. Phil Ambrose is coming right up alongside, and I think
Penrose, from 19, Chris Mills. From Mark Giles. From Steve Brayford. Round the turn they come then. The last lap is one lap from victory. In second place is Chris Mills. Well, there's no stopping out for Ambrose. Now he got the worst start in his career. Going for gold. He comes over the last place. The checkered flag is being made ready. For number 50, second place is number 19, Chris Mills. Then it's Mark Giles, Steve Brayford, Gareth Igmott, Kevin Buck.
And I've just been told that if Tony Knoll, if you're about, if you want to find Kevin, he's now down here where we are. No clutch problems this time for Malcolm Simmons, but I'm sure they all know that there's just been a fair amount of water being put down on the circuit, so they'll all be a little bit cautious going into that first turn. But as they sort themselves out down the back straight, it is Malcolm Simmons that gets himself to the front. He really does look very comfortable in this class, Malcolm Simmons. Number 22, Peter Baker, in second place at the moment, which is exactly how it was last time out. These two did in fact have the 1-2, but you may remember that in the very first race of the day, Malcolm Simmons had problems with his clutch. He had to work very, very hard to get himself up to the front of the field. Not so much of a problem this time. Looking back to third place, we've got number 3, Tony Davey. Oh, that's an improvement on points for Tony Davey. He had a 4th place first time out, so he's elevated himself up 1 place. As Malcolm Simmons now sees the last lap flag. We've seen the last lap flag, but there is a red flag out on the far side of the circuit. 2 riders down on this top bend. The rest of the riders being brought to a halt. Martin Cuff had wins. We've seen Steve Maitland have 2 wins. Tony Penfold has been right there as well. Has made a terrific start as they go into that first turn. He's got the edge as he goes in, but Steve Maitland is right there with him. Tony Penfold trying to go around the outside and look for 3rd place, but it is Martin Cuff and Colin Clark that have got away. Steve Maitland and Dave Hollins in second at the moment. Tony Penfold moves up into 3rd place. But the scrap has got to be said to be at the front, because we've got Martin Cuff and Colin Clark leading from Steve Maitland and Dave Hollins. Those two together, Tony Penfold and Carl Bell in 3rd. But look at the scrap for 1st place. Martin Cuff will be trying to make sure there's no way around the outside for him, but is he going to leave too big a gap on the inside? Tony Penfold could take advantage of that as they try and fight with each other to stop the lines happening. Tony Penfold will be conscious that they're going wide. He can have the inside, and he's done exactly that. Tony Penfold has moved through on the inside. Terrific sidecar racing from these 3 crews. Martin Cuff has locked out Steve Maitland as they go up the back straight. They've had to slow down and let them go, and all that time that those two were fighting, Tony Penfold and Carl Bell took advantage. They got through on the inside. They've now just got 1 more lap to go. Steve Maitland and Dave Holland try to get that 2nd place back, and they've done it as they go into the bottom turn. Goes Steve Maitland, it is now in 2nd place. He's got 1 more corner to go. Can he catch up on Tony Penfold? Has Tony done enough? He goes into the top turn. He's just got that last corner to make as the checkered flag is made ready. That was a terrific ride from Tony Penfold and Carl Bell. They've done it. Steve Maitland and Dave Holland get second to them. Martin Cuff and Colin Clark finish in 3rd. Now if the rest of the finals are as close as that one, then it's well worth waiting for. I know it's been a long day, but that was a tremendous decision from the 1000cc left-handers. I think you'll all agree with me. Tremendous decision just to do the 2 2 qualifying rides and then give us a final like that. Richard Smith, 611 John Cox, 71 Jamie Rogers, 65 Lee Bartlett, 83 Nathan Irwin, 48 Brian Cornelius, and number 2, 21-year-old today, Craig Smith. John Cox is there, and Vince Kinchin has come through the crowd to get up there as well, but Vince is back in second, now third, as it starts to change. I think that is number 33, Richard Smith has come through, the very tall figure of Richard, but out in front at the moment is Jamie Rogers, number 71. Jamie Rogers it is that leads from Richard Smith on the outside, Vince Kinchin on the inside. Those three now getting away from the rest of the field, but tremendous ride from Jamie Rogers. Jamie Rogers has got the lead. Vince Kinchin goes after him on the inside. He knows that if he tries to shut him out too much, he'll get Richard Smith going around the outside of him. He's going to try and stay very much in the middle ground. He's got battling from both sides. Richard Smith again has gone the wide line, again looking to get the speed up the back straight, but Jamie Rogers is still there. Jamie Rogers goes into the top bend, still with the lead from Richard Smith, who again is forced wide. Vince Kinchin watching what's happening. He'll know he can pounce if he can just get the speed up and stay tight as well. Easy for me to say, but very difficult to do, as those two in front of him are absolutely flying. Oh, problems as he got close to the boards for Richard Smith, and Richard's put it down. Richard's put it down. It means that as we come towards the checkered flag, it's going to be a win for Jamie Rogers. Vince Kinchin gets second, and a battling John Cox comes through for third place. Well, I'm pleased to see that Richard is straight up on his feet, but very, very disappointing ride from Richard. But once again, tremendous entertainment, a terrific 350 final. The starters move away and up go the tapes, and as we get underway, it's Paul Whitelam that's made the best of the starts. Miles Simmons and John Hiscock on the inside of him. Miles Simmons has got that second place, but down the back straight, pushing for the lead in fact, as Miles Simmons goes through and gets to the front. Paul Whitelam had a little bit of a poor moment there as he came into that bottom turn. He left a big gap, and Miles Simmons said thank you very much, but he's responded again and he's got that lead back, so the two of them together as they go around that top turn. Paul Whitelam and Kevin Jones got the lead back. Now this is where they made the error before. Didn't think he was going to do it twice. Miles Simmons has to just follow him around this bottom turn. We all know that he might have a chance. In fact, it's Rob Bradley that I perhaps should be looking at, because he's back in third place at the moment. Fighting, in fact, with John Hiscock and Simon Wall. So we are perhaps going to see points dropped here from the heat winners of the first leg. This is a very, very good ride for Paul Whitelam and Kevin Jones. Miles Simmons again tries to attack, but no way through, or is there? He's closer this time as he goes down the back straight, looking for a way through. Rob Bradley much closer to them as well now, as it will be the checker flag this time as they come towards me, and Miles Simmons has got the line on the inside. It's going to be close, and he just gets it, I think. Well, a tremendous finish there from Miles Simmons and Dave Hogan. They took a chance, pushed hard, kept it tight on the exit, and then it was a race to the line. So, while the discussion goes on to my right between all the finishing people, we'll give you the official result in a few minutes. Appleton's made a very good start on the inside of Joe Screen. He's got the edge as he goes into that first turn, but Screen comes back at him again as they go around that first bend. Vince Kinchin has gone on a wide trail around the outside, and Joe Screen has gone wide. So Andrew Appleton takes over the lead. Glenn Cunningham trying to get up there into that second place. Now it's Joe Screen that's got to do the chasing. Andrew Appleton having a tremendous ride. Leads as he goes down the back straight. Screen attacks him again as he goes into this top turn though. He's gone very, very wide, and Andrew Appleton keeps it on a march past the Snyder line. Glenn Cunningham has made it up as well. Glenn Cunningham looks to be nosing into second place, but Joe Screen responds again. He pulls away from that third place position, but Andrew Appleton, while those two are battling behind him, consolidates, stays in the lead, looks comfortable. Joe Screen with a much tighter line this time. Gets some excellent drive coming off that top turn, and now he begins to attack. He wants to keep the maximum. Andrew Appleton responds though as they go down the back straight. It's going to be very, very tight on this top bend because Joe Screen is beginning to attack. Looking for a way through. He's gone through on the inside. Will it force him out? Andrew Appleton comes back underneath. Appleton gets it. So that's the 2 points off Joe Screen that the rest of the riders needed. Excellent ride from youngster Andrew Appleton. Tremendous. This is the first of the semi-finals. Andrew Appleton and Paul Hurry together as they go into that first turn. Trevor Banks has gone around the outside of them. Glenn Cunningham is there as well. Into that top turn they go, and it is Paul Hurry that's got the lead. Paul Hurry is away. Driving back in second place, Glenn Cunningham. And there's problems for Glenn Cunningham as he goes down on that bottom turn. Who's made the best of it. I can see Joe Screen on the inside. It was Glenn Phillips that made the best of the starts, but Grove Screen has taken over as they go into that first turn. So, is it going to be Joe Screen that goes into the final on the same points as Paul Hurry? He certainly leads at the moment. Vince Kinchin trying to get that second place, sits in third at the moment, under pressure now as he goes up that back straight. But Joe Screen, who we thought reading the press during the week was going to be a strong challenger for this British Masters title, he's proving all the pundits to be right. All sorts of problems for Vince Kinchin as he comes down past us. At the moment they keep the yellow flags out. Vince is quickly back on his machine and back racing again. But unfortunately I could see on the far side somebody had already put a red flag out. On the inside, and they get underway. He's not made the gate. It is Paul Whitelam that's made the gate and Miles Simmons. So Paul Whitelam and Miles Simmons go into that top corner together. John Halsey back in third place at the moment. Paul Whitelam and Kevin Jones get away now as Miles Simmons chases them down the back straight. To see if there's any mistakes made as those two try and push each other. Oh, John Halsey looks to go round the outside, perhaps going into that top bend. Oh, it was a brave move, and he's cut back underneath, and he's got inside Miles Simmons. So John Halsey has got up into second place. He moves closely up to Paul Whitelam and Kevin Jones. Miles Simmons tries to come back at him on the outside of that pit bend, and as they come up towards us, Paul Whitelam has indeed locked it up sideways. All sorts of problems for John Halsey as he goes off into the centre green. He's joined back in fifth place. Well, Paul Whitelam had locked it up completely coming out of that bottom turn. So John Halsey now back in fifth place. Remember, he was top point scorer coming into this semi-final. Ivor Matthews has moved up into third place. He also has been getting quicker as the day has gone on. So the point situation going into this final could be absolutely incredible because they're all taking points off each other. I think Paul Whitelam may have a problem with his machine. It appears to die every so often and rapidly slow. So whether that was the problem that caused him to lock up coming out of this bottom turn, he looks to have got it going, but John Halsey moves on the inside of him now. He's got himself up into third place as he's going to the top, and I didn't realise it had even finished. Well, we'll wait to see what the official result is then. And it looks to be a terrific start once again from Matt from Roller. John Halsey has gone there with him as well. Miles Simmons has gone off into the centre green. He's got problems. But John Halsey chasing Matt from Roller for that lead. Matt from Roller and Andy Wilson lead as they go down the back straight. Gary Jackson, in fact, at the back of the field at the moment, so that really has put the cat amongst the pigeons, as I was half expecting to happen, that all the points now are completely up in the air, because Matt from Roller and Andy Wilson were on 26 points coming into this final. If you add their 7 to it, if they manage to stay in front, that of course will give them 33 points. Now, what will happen if you add 5 to John Halsey's? That will give him 32 points. So at the moment, I've got to say, I think that Matt from Roller and Andy Wilson could win this British Masters by winning the final. Now, I'm going to have to try and work this one out a bit more closely, but let's enjoy the racing for the moment, because John Halsey, I think, knows he's got to win this final. He's chasing hard as he goes down the back straight, looking for a way through. Can he get through on the inside of Matt from Roller? Ivor Matthews goes round the outside of both of them. What has he coming off that bottom turn? John Halsey has got to the front. Matt from Roller has now got to deal with Ivor Matthews, who's on his sidecar wheel on the outside and looking for a way through. But John Halsey and Jason Glennie could have done enough if they won this final. They go down the back straight and get into the bottom turn. And as they come around to the checkered flag, this could be enough for John Halsey and Jason Glennie to win it by my calculations. They know they've done it. Ivor Matthews, I think, got second. Matt from Roller in third. Miles Simmons, tremendous to see those guys out there in the final. And Gary Jackson, a long way down. We've got to add all the points together, decide who it was.
Or Lewis Denham. Could be anybody's, really. They revs rise, the tapes fly, and here they come down the first straight. 185 it is that goes down to the first turn first. Lewis Denham sneaked through on the inside. He's a bit high, wide and handsome as he goes down that back straight. He loses a bit of ground and the others gain those few vital yards on him as they go into that next turn. Sideways action again here. Lewis Denham coming through on the inside, or is he? It's all alpha leather stuff as he goes against Paul Cooper. Paul Cooper fights back. Richard Smith down in third place. Now who expected that as Lewis Denham powers down that back straight. British Junior champion 350cc's this year. Just moved up into the seniors. This is only his third meeting and he's really going for gold here this afternoon. Cleaned up at Hawley last weekend. And Paul Cooper, another young pretender. They both want centre stage. Richard Smith can only sit back in third place and wonder what might have happened had he been on the front line. Lewis Denham going for it now. Paul Cooper chasing hard in second place. The last lap flag is out. Lewis Denham has a quick look over his shoulder, then a look down at his engine. Still leading it. Paul Cooper won't give up though. He'll fight to the finish. Lewis Denham just holding on to it, but Paul Cooper comes very fast this time. He knows it's now or never. In fact, they both do as they come out of that turn. Paul Cooper goes for the inside. 81, Lester Denham takes it from Paul Cooper in second place, from Richard Smith in third. Then John Cox, John Thomas, Ben Morby. 7, Kevin Buck. No, Kevin Buck is in, he's going. Ricky Scarborough's here. Paul Knott, Mark Farry, Jason Handley, Craig Smith, and Dave Rumsey. An interesting lineup for race 9, the 500cc solos, and here they come. Nice even break as they come down that first straight. It's Mark Farry that gets there first. Paul Knott is right there in second place. Jason Handley down in fifth spot at the moment. Can he come through? Up into third goes Dave Rumsey. Paul Knott squeezes in front of Mark Farry there as he comes round that turn. Had a good ride last week in the Masters, back as you know after injury. But it's lost none of that flair. It's 29, Paul Knott that leads, Mark Farry in second place, Jason Handley in third, then it's Dave Rumsey down in fourth. Rather wide lines going out of that corner and letting Paul Knott get away slightly from the rest of the field. Jason Handley moves up into second place. Paul Knott, Jason Handley, Mark Farry, Ricky Scarborough, Dave Rumsey. Anywhere else this would be a final, wouldn't it? Not just one of the qualifying heats. Paul Knott leading down that back straight. Jason Handley coming on strong in second place, throws it in there sideways. As they come out of this turn, they'll see that last lap flag. It'll be now or never for Jason Handley. Paul Knott trying to hold on to it. Jason Handley desperate to take it. Then Mark Farry and Ricky Scarborough. Look at Jason Handley around the outside there. Comes up alongside Paul Knott. Paul Knott twists that throttle even harder. He twists it much harder, he'll break the cable. Paul Knott into that pits turn.
1 turn from victory. Can he hold on to it? Jason Handley is right there in second place and pushing hard, but the wind goes to Paul Knott in first place, followed by Jason Handley, Ricky Scarborough, Mark Ferry, Dave Rumsey, Kevin Buck, Craig Smith.
Well, not from Broadbury Steel, but they're all happy now. The revs rise. Tapes fly, and here they come. Up to the first corner, get into that first turn first. Eddie and McCordy creeping through on the inside. Mick Toll goes through on the inside as well. Dave Steer drops back to third place. Problems there for Mr. McCordy as he goes out wide. He comes back in on third place. Damien James and James Rogers, or the other way round, are right in there. Dave Steer's right on the inside. Dave Steer is back in. Tony Bates been there in the challenge in second position. Look at John Hiscock coming through on the inside. Dave Steer goes a little bit too wide. Mick Toll's right there waiting to take the inside line from him, but must be a bit wet on that straight, I think, there somewhere. Dave Steer really slows it up and gets a good tight turn out of that one. From Mick Toll and Tony Baisby, then John Hiscock and Simon Wall, James Rogers and Damien James, Mr. McCauley and another. Nice tight turn there for Dave Steer. Dave Steer gets the motor on and up he comes. Mick Toll is all the way on this now, the last lap. Round the top turn. Down by the trees, look at Mick Toll. Mick Toll really means business on this, the last corner. It's in the last turn for the last time, and Dave Steer, not in a nutshell. If he goes a little bit wide, Mick Toll comes through, and Mick Toll takes it. Mick Toll on that last pin, and over that finish line he goes. What a tremendous bit of racing there by Mick Toll. Never gives up, that aggression pays off when things go wrong for the competitive opposition. He's there. 62, Mick Toll, and 16. Mark Sharrock, a full house of right-hand chairs. 6 go in this race. Partridge was the left on the line, but the left on the way, and a nice run to the first turn, and a nice clear run it is for 92. From Whiteland, Kev Jones, and over goes Mick Toll and Tony Baisby. Red flags are out. Didn't quite see what happened there. The outfit turning over, but both lads look up and okay.
John Halsey's made a good start from the inside here, and the Amos is trying to follow him, but it's the riders on the outside that look to have got the advantage as they've gone into that first turn. It is John Hiscock that's got to the front. So right from that outside gate, it was John Hiscock around the outside, and Ivor Matthews, I can see, is now starting to move through on the outside of John Halsey back there in third place. But John Hiscock, it is, has got away, lifts the outfit in the air. Paul Whitelum is right there with him. John Halsey and Jason Glennie in third, follow Paul Whitelum into that bottom bend. Up the hill they go once more, and that's how they stay. John Hiscock and Simon Wall leading from Whitelum and Kevin Jones. Paul Whitelum goes to the outside line. Now we said there might be plenty of opportunities for passing this afternoon. Lots of different lines around this circuit, and Paul Whitelum forced to go very, very wide. Cuts back across, and John Halsey's got all sorts of problems with Paul Whitelum coming in on him. But John Halsey manages to get away with it, and I think he's got himself up in a second. No, Paul Whitelum comes back at him. No, in fact, Paul Whitelum is Ivor Matthews has come through. So in all that mayhem in the bottom turn, Ivor Matthews and Mick Stace have come through. John Halsey must have wondered what was going on there. Ivor Matthews round the outside of John Hiscock as well. Oh, tremendous race from Ivor Matthews and Mick Stace. They were a long, long way back at the start. And John Halsey now looking for a way through for second as he goes round the outside of John Hiscock and into second place. So they will come towards the checkered flag this time. It is going to be a win for Ivor Matthews and Mick Stace. John Halsey, Jason Glennie second, John Hiscock and Simon Wall finishing in third. But really that, I think, has set the pace for the afternoon. It's not all over from that first turn. This time as they get underway. I was also going to mention that Paul Whitelum's in there as well. He's had some good rides this afternoon. And as they sort themselves out going into that first turn, it is Duncan Tolhurst has got to the front, Rob Bradley's in second, Ivor Matthews in third. So along the back straight, Duncan Tolhurst with a good advantage on Rob Bradley at the moment, but Rob closes up in that top bend. Ivor Matthews trying to stay close to the back wheel of Rob Bradley as well, so he'll be pushing him along. Matt from Marola has got past Paul Whitelam at the moment, and he's got himself up into fourth place. But as they go round that back straight, you can see exactly what's happening. Ivor Matthews is trying to get round the outside of Rob Bradley. No way through this time. Rob Bradley quick enough to keep him away, so Ivor Matthews switches to the inside. Can he get underneath him coming out of the bend? He certainly can, and he now charges forward to try and catch Duncan Tolhurst. So some good driving from Ivor Matthews as he works his way round and tries to make it 3 out of 3. Goes along the back straight, very good indeed. Duncan Tolhurst as well along that back straight. And a very wide line from Duncan Tolhurst. We know that Ivor Matthews can pull it in tight coming out of the bend. He's done exactly the same thing again. He's got himself to the front. Oh, that was a terrific bend for Ivor Matthews. He's done exactly the same thing twice. And he's got himself to the front as he goes along that back straight. Up for these 4 places. But Ivor Matthews is going to make it that he gets first choice of gate in the final, because he's going to make it 3 out of 3 as he crosses the line. Duncan Tolhurst in second, Rob Bradley in third, Matt from Marola in fourth. And all sorts of problems for Gary Jackson. Leaped in the air, he's got it under control, but now he's got some work to do because he has lost out in a big way on that start. Indeed, he coast to a hole, but for the moment it's Paul Whitelam that's got the lead. Matt from Marola looking to come through in a second if he can. Drives in hard into that top bend. And is there a gap been left there for Ian Amos to come through as well? As they come past me for the first time, Paul Whitelam and Kevin Jones lead from Matt from Marola and Andy Wilson. Mick Turrell and Tony Baisby in third, Ian Lee Amos holding that fourth place. And as they sort themselves out on the back, I mentioned must be disappointed they're not in the A final, because they have had a win earlier on this afternoon. They have looked very, very quick, but they lost too many points in their other 2 rides. Means they're in the B final, but Matt from Marola wants to change that. He's got a lot closer this time as he moves down into that bottom turn. Up around the top straight they go, and Matt from Marola is definitely closer. He's pushing hard. Drops off the base, he's back in third. But Matt from Marola and Andy Wilson want to make this one theirs as they've gone the wide line round that bend. They're looking for a way through. Paul Whitelam knows they're there. Paul Whitelam lifting it in the air as he comes off that bend. Matt from Marola and Andy Wilson fighting for it every inch of the way. Into the dip they go for the last time, up the back straight, and he's got a much tighter line. Now he was quicker down this back straight. Has he got on the inside? No, Paul Whitelam comes back inside and says, you're not coming through on the inside, matey, you've got to go the long way round. Oh, there's no way round. He's going to try and come underneath on the finishing line, but Paul Whitelam does enough. Paul Whitelam and Kevin Jones take the B final with a terrific effort from Matt from Marola and Andy Wilson. Doncaster's right on the outside. It is Jeremy Doncaster. That thing has made the better of it into that first turn. As they go along the back straight, it's Paul Hurry that takes the Paul Hurry is on the back straight that's got the early lead. Calvin Tatum is going after him. And as they sort themselves out on that pit turn and come up past me for the first time, it is Paul Hurry that's got the lead from Calvin Tatum in second, Jeremy Doncaster in third. Number 15 obviously is Joe Screen moving into third place now. So our top point scorers as they charge champion leads the first Grand Slam that we've seen on the return here to Rhodes Minnis, and we've lost the machine on that bottom turn. underway. Duncan told us has hit problems, but as the rest sort themselves out going into that first turn, we'll pick up for you who it is that's got the lead. Off that turn, that looks like Colin Blackbourn has got the lead. So Ivor Matthews right the way back down. Colin Blackbourn has got away. John Halsey and Jason Glennie in second. Richard Thomas and Kevin Woodley in third. Ivor Matthews trying to change that though. Now we've seen him work his way through this afternoon in earlier races. Can he do it in the final? Well, he's certainly looking for that third place, but he's got Richard Thomas on the inside of him. Colin Blackbourn though with a tremendous start from this outside gate, but look at Ivor Matthews going around the outside. Looking to get up in the third. Richard Thomas says no. John Halsey, in fact, trying to get up too close to Colin Blackbourn. There's a big gap developing, and Colin Blackbourn just doesn't want anybody to catch him. Still the battle is raging for this third place as Ivor Matthews tries to get round Richard Thomas and Kevin Woodley. Into the dip they go once again. Colin Blackbourn still with the edge on John Halsey and Jason Glennie. Into that third place. And as he starts to close now on John Halsey. Colin Blackbourn has gone very wide on that bend this time. John Halsey's got closer to him. So could John Halsey be making a challenge as they go into the last lap? John Halsey now knows he's just got one lap to do it as they come off that bottom turn. He's much closer this time. He's going to have a go. He's going for the outside line. It's all going to be on that last bend. Colin Blackbourn now knows he's there. He locks it up and Colin Blackbourn's in all sorts of trouble. As he goes into that bend, he completely locked it up and over the top he's gone. As we see coming to the checkered flag, John Halsey and Jason Glennie. Richard Thomas and Kevin Woodley get second. Ivor Matthews and Mick Stace get third. And we can now only keep our fingers crossed as we look across the far side there. Completely lock that bike up. Martin is still laid down on the circuit.
Well, here's Colin Blackbourn showing off Martin Bailey's crash helmet. This is at the Lincolnshire Poacher. Colin said he would save the helmet and show me, and I cannot believe the damage caused by that crash. Martin was very lucky to get out of that alive, as you can see. Totally obliterated.
In between where Bob is doing his famous videos, and between that and the first aid point, that little blue car looks like the lights on. That battery at the end of the day, you might want to turn them off. 184, Sean Hiscock out in front with Simon Wall, Dave Steer and Ian Whale in hot pursuit in second place, and then it's Leroy and Andy Wood. Leroy and Andy Wood coming on strong there with Dave Steer, but Lewis is down there back straight. Round the turn they come then. 184, John Hiscock, Simon Wall from Dave Steer. And Ian Whale trying to go around the outside. Cutting back to the inside, but still unable to make any movement on John Hiscock at the moment as they come down into that next turn. Leroy in a comfortable third place. John Hiscock, Dave Steer, Leroy, Duncan Fish, and Mike Underhill. Dave Steer trying the outside line and the checkered flag comes out. It's John Hiscock and Simon Wall. No, Dave Steer just snatches it on the line. Dave Steer from John Hiscock, from Leroy, from Duncan Fish and Mike Underhill. Paul Simmons leads the 250 charge this time. 82 Chris Still is right there with him. Then Spencer Harrison and Chris Pay again got problems with his bike. Seems to flood on the start line and then takes a bit of clearing out. Then when it gets going it flies, but by that time he's lost a lot of momentum. The front two are hard at it. Paul Simmons leads, Chris Still going around the outside or trying to. Those two boys locked into battle as they go down that back straight. Like that, Chris Still comes right up alongside. With the front wheel in front. Out of the turn they come then. Lovely tight racing here at Frittenden on the super smooth circuit. Credit to the lads that did it. 31, Paul Simmons takes it back again then. Chris Still finds the way on the outside here. They come into that pits turn. Chris Still goes around the outside, looks like he's got the advantage in the lane. Paul Simmons comes through up on the inside again. It's going to be tight on the line here. One more lap to go. Chris Still just holding on to it. Paul Simmons going through on the inside on that corner again, winding up that throttle and going to the last turn for the last time. Chris Steele got a lot of speed up and coming in on wide on the outside. Paul Simmons now going a bit wide and Chris Steele should have cut back on the inside, but he didn't manage it, and Paul Simmons wins. Chris Steele in second place. Brilliant race there. Chris Pay makes it up to third and Spencer Harrison in fourth. Right hand side cars then, race 35 underway down the back straight, John Hiscock. Into that first turn they go. John Hiscock hotly pursued by Mick Toll and Tony Baseby, and then Ian Phillips, Ian the aim is, oh, there goes our new man. Right, that tractor, don't run over there, hurry up. Oh, yeah. End of the turn, 184, John Hiscock, 62, Mick Toll and Tony Baseby, then Ian the Ames and Paul Phillips, Trevor Colvin and Mike Day, and Duncan Fish and Ian Other. Saying prayers on his knees, but they're waving her arms around. I think they're quite happy, really. 184, John Hiscock leading. Look at the battle here. It's Mick Toll in second place, and Ian the Aim is trying to go around the outside of all three of them. What's going to happen down this back straight? We've got 184. John Hiscock in second. The front goes Ian the Aim. Ian the Aim comes right up alongside John Hiscock. All three could go in the back of a transit van now as they come up to the line. Who's it going to be? John Hiscock, Mick Toll, and 183, Ian the Aim is. From 99. Trevor Colvin and number 1 Duncan Fish. Official result for you in a moment. What a cracking race here at Frinton. 83, 65, 150, 213, 48, 76, 303, minus 20.56, 59.34. On the right hand side cars are underway. Top man on 17 here, but he's not the first man into the first corner. That is John Hiscock and Simon Wall, followed by Mick Toll and Tony Baseby. Dave Steer is in third at the moment, just ahead of Ian the Ames and Paul Phillips. And then Lee Ray, and then Ryan Partridge. First four outfits are quite close together. Ian the Aim is putting the power down on the ground, and John Hiscock is leading it. Mick Toll is right there in second place, then Dave Steer, and then Ian the Aim is. Then Lee Ray and Andy Wood, and Ryan and Ross Partridge bringing up the rear. It's John Hiscock and Simon Waldo that lead this one. Mick Toll is pushing hard. He wants that first place. He's in second at the moment. Dave Steer is waiting for Mick Toll and John Hiscock to get themselves into a mistake situation. Then he will try and take that first place. It's play the waiting game for Dave Steer. Looks like John Hiscock made a bit of a mistake there. Mick Toll and Dave Steer. John Hiscock relegated down to third. Ian the Aim is still pushing away in fourth. It's all L for level as the checkered flag goes out for Mick Toll and Tony Baseby, from Dave Steer and Ian Whale, John Hiscock and Simon Wall, Paul Phillips, wrong way round, Ian the Aim is and Paul Phillips, Lee Ray and Andy Wood, and Ryan and Ross Partridge bringing up the rear of the Mason Aces Productions. Race 4 to 4, the 500cc solo final is underway. Mitch Cotton and Mark Charles going to the first turn first. Mark Charles on the inside, Mitch Cotton on the outside. It's all for notice to go down that straight. Mitch Cotton picks it up and goes in front. Mark Charles cuts through on the inside. It's Alpha Leather, those two are side by side, and Mark Charles gets in front. Mitch Cotton goes after him. Then it's Tim Garrow, then it's Tim Mount, then it's Gareth Hickmott, and look at Mitch Cotton riding up the banking. They go fast to the more banking inside, and now he comes underneath Mark Charles this time as they go into that fifth turn. Mark Charles winds it on and goes a little bit wide, and Mitch Cotton going for the inside. He's not there yet, he's 26. Mark Charles, 2 more laps to go. Mitch Cotton riding right up the banking. He's done very fast off of that banking and down that other side. Will it be enough to do the job? He's right there and trying and pushing hard, but he can't quite make it yet. It's Mark Charles that leads. Mitch Cotton now cuts back for the inside. Mark Charles takes the wider line. 1 more lap to go, and Mitch Cotton gets in front. 26, Mark Charles goes up on the inside and takes it back again. The last lap as Mark Charles overslides on the top there, and Mitch Cotton sees his disadvantage. They come round to do the last turn for the last time. It's the cracker here at the Mason Aces. Mitch Cotton comes over that turn. He's a few quid better off, and he's the Sussex Smuggler Champion for 2017. Garrett sneaks through on Mark Charles. Fourth is Nathan Irwin, and what a race.
The reigning British Masters champion, Paul Hurry. What sort of mark will he be putting on the Poacher 2002? He knows he's got some strong competition. It's 4 qualifying heats through to a big final at the end of the day. And this is where all the work starts. As we get underway with the first race of the afternoon for Poacher 2002, and as they scream down that back straight, it doesn't look to me like Paul Hurry has got the best of the start. So let's pick them up for you as they come round past me for the very first time. And with the lead is the rider. That's Lee Complin. Lee Complin with a good lead at the moment. Watch for Paul Hurry working his way through though. He's under the inside of Paul Knott, that was in second place. But Paul Hurry's now got himself up into second place, so he's chasing after Lee Complin. Great start to the afternoon for the youngster Lee Complin, and terrific that he knows he's not at the moment in 4th spot. Good ride from Thomas Cooper back there in 5th place at the moment. He's having a good little scrap. But all eyes, I'm sure, are on those front two, because Paul Hurry is closing down on Lee Complin as we come to the completion of this first heat. We've got just one more lap to go, and it's finally back wheel. Into that mid-turn they go for the last time, and Paul Hurry on the outside. Will he switch? Will he try and get underneath? Yes, he has. He's looking for that line on the inside. He's got up inside of Lee Complin, and now he just powers away. Now Lee could have an opportunity to come back underneath him, because he's gone in very quickly into that bend, but no such chance as the first checker flag of the afternoon goes to Paul Hurry. Lee Complin in second, Jason Hanley in third, and Paul Knott in fourth. First crew to be with Gary Jackson taking those tyres, because as you'll see, he won it in 93, 95 and 97 and 99. So as I mentioned earlier, he certainly has the best of the records for this event. And we stay for the moment with the solo Poacher, and as they go into that first turn, all sorts of problems for Andrew Appleton as they go into that first turn. Continuing to race, but red flags are now being shown. Obviously the bike has gone into the fence, so they'll need to repair that fence before they can get back to racing conditions.
Well, let's take another look at the action in this crash here. You can see Andrew Appleton actually drop back, and it may well have been Tony Atkin almost coming off just there. Tony does ever so well to stay on, but I think that may well have caused Andrew Appleton a lot of problems behind him, and Phil Ambrose come hurtling into the frame. Well, unfortunately for Phil, he suffered a severely broken leg, and just below the knee, so I believe, and he had to be airlifted to hospital. It was mainly because precaution. They wanted to get him to hospital as quick as possible, but I do fear that this is going to end Phil's racing career. He had said to me the other week he was thinking about jacking it all in, because he does tend to come off a lot, and he's had a lot of problems, so it would be such a shame. But you can see him hitting the floor there, and he's really in agony. Such a shame for a young rider.
So for the moment we stay with race 23. This is heat 2 of the 4th leg ride. They come past me in the morning. Dave Steers right up there as well as they go into that first turn, and I think that's Ivor Matthews that's gone around the outside of the dirt line. It is in fact Ivor Matthews and Tony Miles that appear out of the bend in 3rd place. And Dave Steer gets very, very close to Ian McCauley. He's certainly had a very good day, Ian McCauley and Darren Wilkes. Dave Steer trying to find a way. This could be interesting, because if Dave Steer goes wide, he's running the risk of Ivor Matthews coming in on the inside of him. Now I think he's realised that and decided to stay tight. He goes past Ian McCauley. Ivor Matthews trying to go past as well as he goes into that bottom turn. He gets there as well. He's gone into 2nd spot. So now the pressure on for the leader, Dave Steer, as Ivor Matthews has got a very good exit out of that bend. He's much, much closer to him as he goes into that top turn. Has to find a way through on the inside. Is he forced to go wide? No, he stayed tight, and Dave Steer knows he's there. So he shuts the doors and makes sure that he stays ahead. Into the bottom turn they go. Ivor Matthews looking. Now this is where he made a much better exit out of the bend, but Dave Steer's corrected it this time. He's held a much tighter line, so he's not allowing any gaps for him to get through. Ivor, I think, has realised he's going to try and go the wide line. See if he can get a quick run down that back straight. Ian Well looks over his shoulder, knows he's there. He's got one more turn to go to come into this checker flag. Ivor looks to be having another go as he goes round the outside, perhaps this time. Oh, it's a long way round, and Dave Steer knows he's there, and he came out brilliantly to keep him out. Oh, that was a very tactical piece of riding from Dave Steer. He wasn't going to leave any gaps there for him. So as we look across the far side, who's going to take the title of Poacher 2002? Not running 2001, of course. As they get underway, this is the big final for the solo competition. And Paul Hurry has made an absolutely brilliant start as they go into that first turn. But look at David Howe going after him. He dives in on the inside. We've seen him ride some very tight lines on that top end. Can David Howe in third place? Paul Cooper in fourth at the moment. Andrew Appleton in fifth. But it's all about who can catch Paul Hurry. He made a brilliant start and going into that first turn. He was really given too much margin really from the rest of the field. But they're trying to close on him. David Howe getting closer and closer. They come off that top end. Paul Hurry with a terrific ride off that top end. David Howe trying to stay with him. Much closer this time as he goes in that first end. Now, can David Howe have a go? Paul Hurry's gone very wide. David Howe is closing up on him, and he's going for him this time. Into the top end he goes, and David Howe has got it from Paul Hurry. David Howe it is has got out in front. Paul Hurry looks over his got a problem, but it might have been checking how close the next rider was. He can see it, I'm sure, but if you go up the back straight, David Howe really has got it now as he goes up the back straight. He maybe wasn't the quickest out of the box, but he's worked his way through and he's got himself to the front. As they come towards the checkered flag, it's David Howe that's going to get it. Paul Hurry gets second, Tony Atkin in third. Fourth place finisher is Paul Cooper, Lee Conklin, and then Andrew Appleton. But a tremendous battle from David Howe. He really has turned out to be an exciting rider on the grass afternoon. There has been some very good starts from all across the gate. We'll watch to see what happens. I think that's Ivor Matthews has got the inside gate. Dave Steer's in there as well, but as they get underway, see who's made the best of the breaks. They start to sort themselves out from the outside. John Halsey that gets there. John Halsey and Jason Glennie go into that first turn, leading from Rob Bradley and Tristan Winterburn at the moment. Colin Blackbourn in third, Ivor Matthews in fourth, but it's John Halsey and Jason Glennie that are getting away. Rob Bradley and Tristan Winterburn trying to do everything they can to make sure they don't get too far away. Ivor Matthews attacking that third spot by coming around the outside of Colin Blackbourn. He's gone on the outside of the third line as well. Very, very quick on that outside line. Now we've seen Ivor work his way through this afternoon. He's up in third place now as they come off that top end. Still the lead is with John Halsey and Jason Glennie. Rob Bradley and Tristan Winterburn in second. Ivor Matthews has got up into third place as they go into that pit bend. And he's getting very close to second as well. He's pushing and pushing, you can see. Oh, Bradley knows that somebody's there as well now. And this is where it gets a bit awkward. Does Rob Bradley attack John Halsey and leave gaps for Ivor Matthews? You know the theory. John Halsey goes a little bit wide on that far side. Ivor Matthews looked to have lost out then going down that back straight. And indeed Rob Bradley has got closer to John Halsey now as they come round the pit bend. There's one more lap to go and John Halsey and Jason Glennie. Rob Bradley and Tristan Winterburn still in second. Ivor Matthews still in third. Rob Bradley can have a go again. He's got in the way through on the inside. John Halsey knows he's there. And I'm sure there's going to be an attack on the last bend, as John Halsey and Jason Glennie will know that Rob Bradley's close to them. They come off that bottom turn, they cannot afford an error, and I don't think there's any errors been made. Rob Bradley goes for it, but John Halsey's got it. John Halsey takes it, Rob Bradley and Tristan Winterburn in second. There's Ivor Matthews and Tony Miles in third.
Thomas Cooper nearest to us on the commentary box. Off the line they go. And it's young man from Holland, the reigning champion who leads, Theo Piper. Theo Piper there, number 5. Followed by Christian Holzhorst with Germany. So Holland 1, Germany 2 in this one at the moment. This young, who is going to beat this young man this afternoon, the reigning champion Theo Piper. 5th in the world at the moment on the long tracks. Battling for that second spot is Glenn Phillips, going around the outside of the German on the 6 turn. Glenn Phillips is in second then, so 29 there, pulling out 4 north, looks like in some discomfort as he comes by us. T.O. Piper, and problems, it looks like Glenn Phillips going down there, so problems, a couple of riders, one pulling out and one taking.
Should be race 15, of course, that we're on, and there we can see that we've got Jeremy Doncaster going in this one, and he is the rider that's got into that first bend in first place. So under pressure straight away in that first bend from so Jeremy Doncaster leading from Paul Hurry as they go up the back straight. Paul Hurry looks to go around the outside this time perhaps. Crosses back over, dives underneath. Can he hold it tighter on the exit of the bend? Can he get underneath Jeremy Doncaster? Can he force him wide? Well, he's certainly got a wheel there, but Jeremy Doncaster isn't moving. Goes away from Paul Knott in third place. Julian Phipps in fourth place at the moment. Thomas Cooper trying to close down on Julian Phipps, but always, I'm sure, on those front two. Paul Hurry closing all the time on Jeremy Doncaster, but this is the star we'd like to see from Jeremy Doncaster. He leads. One more lap to go. Paul Hurry must know that he's got a bit of a challenge on. Still not still getting that third place. Will Paul Hurry go for it? Will he hang on in there and just accept second place? Into the last lap he goes, and into the last turn. Now I think you all know the answer to that question. Paul's going to have a go on the inside, but he'll have to be content with second this time. Great ride from Jeremy Doncaster. So this is the first of the semi-finals as they go up that first straight and into the top bend. Who's going to make it through to the final? Jeremy Doncaster is right there. Kelvin Tatum round the outside. Paul Hurry. Is right up there with those front three. But looking across the far side, it is the flying Kelvin Tatum that's got away. Paul Hurry again has a go at Jeremy Doncaster. He's right the way around the outside and all sorts of problems to Paul Hurry. He's got in all sorts of things on that top bend. He's ended up connecting with the post. Joe Screen has made a much better start this time, and indeed he's head down going up that back straight. David Howe is chasing after him. Mitch Godden is in there as well, but it's Joe Screen and David Howe that have got away. Joe Screen goes wide. David Howe is tight on the inside. He gets close. Joe Screen looks to just take the advantage as he comes out of that bottom turn. David Howe still there in second place. He won't let him get away. Mitch Godden is leading the rest of the field in third place, but it's all about these front two. Who's going to qualify for the final by winning the second? Joe Screen now 2 bikes advantage, I would say, in front of David Howe. Has David Howe got anything left? Oh, what sort of time will Joe Screen put up? Will he be able to compete with Kelvin Tatum in that final? Can David Howe produce anything extra in that final? Into the last lap they go. Joe Screen looking very much in control, throws it into that big bend. David Howe chases after him. Now, has David Howe got anything left? Will he again be content with that second place? Doesn't look as if he will be. He's going for him as he goes into that last bend. He's right on the inside of him. He's got a good line coming out. It's going to be close to the line for these two. David Howe takes it. Tremendous last turn. Joe Screen must have wondered where he'd come from. The 62, Mick Toll, is a little bit behind them. But he had a very, very disappointing first ride. Himself up into fourth in his second ride. Away they go, and it does look like Mick Cave has made the best of that one. Ian Amos has gone with him as well. Those two together as they go round that first turn. So Mick Cave on the inside. Miles Simmons is in third place at the moment, battling with Ivor Matthews. But as they go into that top bend, there's all sorts of problems. as Ian the Amos looked to have hit Mick Cave, and Mick Cave has got all sorts of problems. He was in fact caught in the middle of that bend. So the first of the 2002 Bonfire Burn-up finals. We start with the 1000cc sidecar. Of the start as he goes into that first turn. Well, that perhaps was the reason why he wanted to be top qualifier, and as I say, disappointed that he didn't get into the A final, but he did get first choice of gate. Ivor Matthews and Tony Miles close to them, though, again disappointed that they're not in that A final. And as they come round that bottom turn, it is those two that are getting away. Mick Tower and Tony Miles still there in third. Ian the Amos having a good ride up behind Mick Tower at the moment, looking to try and get that third place. And as they go down the back straight, Richard Thomas doesn't want to be caught. You can see Ivor Matthews getting closer and closer all the time, though, as they drive hard into that bottom turn. No change in the movement, as it is still the 1, 2, 3, 4 that we started off with. But Ivor Matthews looks to have another go. He's gone very wide on that pit bend. Loses the speed going down the back straight, and look at Mick Tower catching him up. Well, Mick Tower really did have an excellent back straight then. He's caught right up behind Ivor Matthews. He must be looking for the way through. And Richard Thomas still pulling him away, and there's all sorts of problems for Mick Tower as he goes into that bottom turn. Paul Whitelum and Kevin Jones with problems at the moment. Does look as if he's got problems with his clutch, so obviously the reason why the engine stalled on him. Quickly get machinery going. Everybody else patiently waiting on the start line. Now this one could be interesting because Darrin Treloar has missed the start. Paul Whitelum in fact has got to the front. Richard Thomas is right there with him though, and Richard Thomas pushing hard. Paul Victor round the outside perhaps as they go down the back straight, and Darrin Treloar starting to make his move. Looking to get round the outside of Matt from Roller in that fourth place at the moment. So Richard Thomas in second place, looking to get the lead, and Darrin Treloar through into third place already. He's now looking for second, right on the back wheel of Richard Thomas and Kevin Woodley. They drive on hard. They've gone underneath Paul Whitelum as they go down the back straight. Paul Whitelum responds, but Richard Thomas again looks for that gap on the inside. This is tremendous sidecar racing. It all closes up once again, and Richard Thomas has only just got that lead. Now, has he left the gap for Darrin Treloar to come through as well? Paul Whitelum fights back and takes over the lead again as Darrin Treloar looks for a way round the outside. He's got round the outside of Richard Thomas. He's now going after Paul Whitelum. And Paul Whitelum must be wondering where it's all coming from, because he's had a battle with Richard Thomas. He thinks he's won that one, but now he's got Darrin Treloar trying to find a way through. He's certainly worked his way through. And Paul Whitelum didn't look happy with that at all as he drives in hard into that top end. He's now got Richard Thomas on the inside of him as well. But that is Australian sidecar racing at its very best. Darrin Treloar and Justin Plaisted come round that bottom turn towards the checker flag. They've made it 3 out of 3. So they certainly had to work for that one.